able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Oh.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to kick us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7-millimeter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man
talking about Shawty going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the 7-millimeter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world. But
Go ahead, Shabaka.
Okay, grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Welcome to Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced on STREAMYARD this morning. As we all know, is that Blog Talk is out of business, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. We have Sister Hesep Shoot with us this morning. Greetings to you, sister. How you be? Okay,
Good,
we got
peaceful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And we have Brother Che and Kruma right now in the studio, okay, because our Denver office is having a situation that's going on. Okay, so I'm pulling up some information here on Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., okay. All righty, however, the latest reports, these rumors are completely false. Neely Fuller Jr. is alive. The influential figure who was born October 6, 1929, continues mission of educating people on systemic racism and white supremacy. Okay, now, once again, people, as we already know, you cannot trust this garbage that comes on over here on social media. It's because they'll tell you somebody's dead, they're still alive. They'll tell you that somebody is still alive and that they're dead. Okay, now, and then you got all this spam crap up here. So, you know, I'm just going to read on here. Now, trending, remembering the life and legacy of anti-racism, Neely Fuller Jr. Okay, Neely Fuller Jr., who passed away at 95, dedicated his life to analyzing systemic racism through a comprehensive framework that examined its impact across 9 fundamental areas of human activity. His influential works, including the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept, provided practical guidance for understanding and countering racial oppression, while his mentorship of scholars like Dr. Frances Cress Welsing extended the impact. Fuller's core philosophy, captured in his famous statement that understanding white supremacy is essential to avoiding confusion about all other matters, continues to influence racial justice advocacy and scholarship today. And then I got to get through all this spam and crap, you know, that they're putting up on here. So I'm just letting them know I'm not interested in this garbage right here, ladies and gentlemen. And I suggest you do the same thing as well, too. So it's pop-up after pop-up after pop-up. you say, and just keep hitting that you're not interested, and they really should be paying us for it, because according to Michael Yang, he had stated that these Google clowns and search engines and all this old garbage, they're making way too much money where they should be paying you $1,000 a month to go over your laptops, computers, cell phones, and all that. I mean, just look at this garbage right here. I'm spending time doing this, which is really taken away. Okay, according here, now they got something here on the PDF that I'm not downloading. I don't know if it's contaminated or not, but it says that Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. was born October 6, 1929, and he spent decades analyzing and confronting racism, which he termed white supremacy. Okay. His experiences as a victim and observer of racial injustices led him to develop a framework explaining how racism functions in 9 key areas: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, counter-war. Let's talk about economics. Okay, economics, you have microeconomics and you have macroeconomics. The difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics: microeconomics is the study of the economies of a firm or a business or a corporation. Macroeconomics is the study of economics of a society as a whole. Okay, now we do disagree on this platform. All that I ask is let us disagree agreeably. And what we need to do is to do for self and start building Black businesses to put our own people to work. Okay, Fuller's groundbreaking work influenced many, including the Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, whom he mentored and inspired. His philosophy centered on believing that no major global issue can be resolved until racism is eradicated. Okay, he stated, okay, I got to get this clickbait off my wall. If you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Okay, Fuller is best known for authoring the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept and a compensatory counter-racist codified world guide, which serves as manuals for understanding and countering systemic racism. His analytical approach provided a structured way for individuals to navigate and dismantle racial oppression constructively. Okay, also too, Black family, as I've always advocated when we were on Blog Talk, is that we must do for self. Okay, because don't nobody spend money like we do. Why do you think you got all these other groups that come up here and set these stores up in our community? You see what I'm saying? They trip.
Shabaka, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you for holding it down. But I'm gonna read what I initially wrote, because this really hit close to home for me. I was actually a student of his.
Yes,
his
sir.
work.
Okay.
I see it in a more compensatory way. That's how it's pronounced, Shabaka. Compensatory code concept for victims of racism. But on the season 10, episode 2 of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, in conjunction with the Frontline Black News, on the season 10, episode 2 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, we will be discussing the lives and times of the legendary great master teacher, Neely, like Jordan Neely, the brother that got choked to death in New York.
Yes, sir.
Neely Fuller Jr., the great master teacher, Dr. Frances Luella Cress Welsing was one of his students and understudies, and passed away in 2015 or 2016. She passed away here in Colorado.
Frances Cress Welsing was in Colorado? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was in Colorado when she passed. Remember, Shabaka, when we first linked up, I was telling you I had missed out on the opportunity to meet her before she made her transition because she had spoke at McNichols, not the old McNichols that you're used to, Shabaka, but the new McNichols in 2016. And it was like $30 tickets, and at the time I couldn't
okay,
afford it.
there you are, and there's Sister Hatshepsut right there. Okay, go ahead, please continue, Brother Che, because you glitched out a little bit, and I see the fireman just arrived of where you're at.
Yeah. It's probably the Wi-Fi. I'm charging it now, but it must be in a bad area for it to keep glitching like this.
Yeah,
but either
or they
way,
probably jamming our.
I was saying, oh damn, there it goes again. Shabaka, Sister Hatshepsut.
Our connections once again. Okay, Sister Hatshepsut is back. Okay, Brother Che, I think I hear you in the background. You still with us?
Yes, it's just the internet keep going in and out. But what I was saying, Shabaka, before I was glitched, was I had the opportunity to meet her in 2016, and unfortunately I couldn't afford it to see her. It was like $30 tickets, and at the time I couldn't afford it, so I was unable to go. And then she transitioned like a month after that here in Colorado. I want to say Aspen or Colorado Springs, somewhere like that. But somewhere here in Colorado. And I was very saddened by that. Like, I think I actually shed a tear. Like, I shed a tear this time when I found out Neely Fuller passed, because they were that info. Like, I actually read the ISIS papers. I actually read her works back when I was in college. I found out about her back in college, and around that same time, I found out about Neely Fuller. So I've been on code. I've been on code since. Actually, I was on code then. I just didn't know it.
Okay, all righty. And then
so
of course,
when we talk about, hold on, Bucket. When we talk about code, this is what we're discussing. So anybody talking about code and they're not talking about Neely Fuller Jr. or Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Okay, all right, yeah, that holds a whole lot of water. You know what I'm saying?
So, continuing on, Shabaka, because I have more to read before I got glitched out. He has gone but not forgotten. He transitioned on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025.
Okay.
So he would have been 96 in October. He was 95.
Okay, that's a full life.
And Dr. Claude Anderson ain't too far off. Dr. Claude Anderson is in his 90s now.
Okay.
So we need to give his flowers while he's still here. But, Neely Fuller Jr. is gone but not forgotten. As a student of Neely Fuller Jr. since 2012, I would be remiss if I didn't dedicate a show to his life and work while on this earth. Neely Fuller Jr. is the one who came up with the code book for victims of RWS, otherwise known as racism and white supremacy, or as some say degeneracy, because that's really what it is. Neely Fuller Jr. Explained to us that RWS is a global system of white supremacy that controls all areas of human activity, and that is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, politics, religion, sex, and war.
Yeah, that's right.
Neely Fuller Jr. said that we need to work to replace the global system of racism and white supremacy with a system of justice, which guarantees no one is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those who need the constructive help get it in a constructive manner. He always spoke in terms of constructive and productive, never destructive. That's what the white supremacists do. So please join us on STREAMYARD this Friday morning, February 7th, 2025, as we go over the life and times of Neely Fuller Jr. and his book, The United Compensatory Code, Concept, System, Concept, a textbook / workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism and white supremacy.
Okay. All right. And then the first thing that we need to do, Brother Chad, is
Yoden, hold on, Shabaka. Greetings, Buddy Pay, Grand Rising. I just my speech on Neely Fuller. What are your thoughts? We have Sister Hatshepsut here. We have Shabaka. What are your thoughts on the late great Neely Fuller Jr.? Shabaka said there's a claim that this is a false rumor, but I believe we confirmed that he has passed away. So,
well, Grand Rising, welcome, Sister Shabaka. People watching at home. I just got in. That kind of threw me off. Okay, yeah. Somebody's asking about the link because in the commentary or in the comment section. Nah, he's gone, man. He's like damn near 100 years old. Like, of course he's gone. I say, when the last time I was on the show, that kind of threw me off. The last time I was on the show, which was Tuesday, right? Tuesday. I spoke about this in the Rosa Parks thing, right? And this took over. Neely Fuller Jr. dying took over everything in my mind, right? Because, I believe in the compensatory code. I live by the compensatory code. Might as well breathe the compensatory code. And it wasn't just when I first got with Jesse. I've seen that book before, long before. You know what I mean? I know about that book. I read it, I touched it, I looked at it, I peeked it. So there's lots of books that people think I never saw or read before. I have access to all sorts of brilliant Black libraries. The thing is that it's what's new is what's new, right? But for this to be so prevalent in my life, in my future, it is the reason I live to fight racism and white supremacy every day, all day. We don't take a holiday. It's the word guide is my favorite. Me and Jesse shared a revised edition. Share is really at Jesse's house, and I peeped it. I read it in one night with speed reader, and I felt like this is it. Where I confirmed it is the one spot on the internet you could guarantee was going to have something to do with it, or have something to do about it.
Greetings, Ben. Ben's, not to cut you off, Lady Che, but I want to introduce our guest.
Yes.
We have Ben in the building. Ben says that he's a student of Neely Fuller Jr. for the past 40 years. Greetings, brother. Welcome to the...
Hold on. Yeah, greetings, brother, and welcome.
Greeting all on the panel.
Greetings to you, brother. Thank you for joining us.
Before I forget it.
Thank you.
What I say
Thank
is,
you.
When he passed away, I couldn't turn off the tears if you wanted me to, because here we're celebrating another Rosa Parks, but I went off on the show about that too. We didn't celebrate the girl before her. We didn't celebrate all that, and we learned a lot that night. So this is somebody that we should have celebrated. And I also said a shout out to Mr. Bobby, who, in recent years has been very fucking helpful in helping getting the compensatory message across, the code across. I was mad at the other night when I was talking about people calling wasting his time when the book is very clear and very definitive. There isn't no confusion. You read it, you understand it. Some things you might be like, oh no. Because in the book, you read, and I don't know if I can feel that way, Neely. However, it's just the code book. His feelings are his feelings. But it helps you understand racism and white supremacy. Because anything else would just confuse you in all 9 areas of human activity. God damn it. So, yeah. So I went to hip-hop cartoons. He's gone, y'all. He lived a long motherfucking life. And the last part of it, we can only hope was good. He lived a long fucking life. A long life that some of us won't even get to see. And he gave us something that we should really live by and not ask questions like we're confused and we're idiots. It was very plain, very simple. Just like a lot of our leaders are made it plain. We don't need to be confused. We are leaders. He said that book is to mention you. You want to be a leader? He said step out and lead. Right? Leaders need followers, though. That's what he said. And in my mind, I've been a natural born leader. I'm stepping out now to lead. And whether somebody follows me or not, I know that in my motherfucking heart, I know what I live by. That's a compensatory code book, fighting racism and white supremacy. I'm on the side of us, not them. Fuck what you talking about. Don't let the shade deflect the message. I know who the fuck I am. Ben had knowledge of self. That's all that needs to be said. He's gone. It's not a fucking rumor. I mean, God, if you believe that, what else will you believe? You dig? So, just a message to confuse us, as Neely Fuller Jr. would say. So, carry on. Brother Bay, welcome. I'm done. Carry. Brother Bay. Ben.
May I make a comment?
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
go ahead, Sister Hesep.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Well, just the very little that I do know about the brother, I've heard of him before. I've always agreed with Neely Fuller Jr.'s concept that we need to replace the incorrect concept of white supremacy with
Right.
justice. And he had a lot in common with Elijah Muhammad, because Elijah Muhammad taught this often. One of his points in our Constitution, not the American Constitution book, but our Constitution book in the Nation of Islam, is that we need freedom, justice, and equality. You know, and he focused on justice, which is why we have the star and the crescent in our rings and in our flags and whatnot that represents Islam, is because you have that star which represents justice. And we do deserve justice. We don't like I said, I don't know that much about the brother, but from what I do know, he was positive, and we don't deserve white supremacy. We've done nothing to deserve it. And we have done nothing to be treated with injustice. We deserve to be treated just as good as them white people are treated when they go out to the stores and buy things and go here on and here out. And we're treated differently, as you notice when we go other places. People look at us funny if they don't say something, because they have an envy and jealousy seed about our skin tone. They wish they were us. So justice is divine, and we need that. I agree.
Oh, yes, ma'am, absolutely. And then also, too, we also got to look at how we treat each other, as Dr. Marimba Ani, who is a student of the one and only Dr. John Henry Clark of this Ma'afa. And as we all know, the Ma'afa is a disaster so bad that it is beyond description. And Dr. Ani did submerge herself in African culture for 15 years. And of course, as we do know, that she was a student of the one and only Dr. John Henry Clark. Okay.
Correct.
And,
so,
man,
like Dr. Cress Welsing was a student of Neely Fuller Jr.
Right.
Neely Fuller Jr. wrote a whole book, 2 sets of books, and a word guide on how to counteract that.
Right.
So we have a guest on the panel.
Yeah, and then also too, another thing that we need to do now. This is just me now.
Oh, we got Crew in the building. Shout out to Crew. Crew's in the building.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, Crew? It's always a pleasure, man, having you, man.
Shabaka,
got a new guest.
let Mr. Ben Bay speak.
Or Ray. Hi, Ray.
Yes. How's everybody doing this morning?
I guess I'm looking for an old cat.
Technical difficulties. And
let me know. Can you say that again?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, just let me know when you want me to chime in.
Oh, yes, sir. By all means, you can chime in now, sir.
Okay, basically, let me give you the story of I met Dr. Well, I would call him a doctor, but Neely Fuller Jr. in Los Angeles at a bookstore. He was doing a talk and on the United Compensatory Code System textbook for thought, speech, and action for victims of racism and white supremacy. And at that time, I was somewhere in my, I think probably in my early 30s.
Okay.
Well, no, middle. I'll tell you like 23, 24, 25. But anyway, he had such a profound effect, a profound logic as to explaining what racism, white supremacy is, and how does it affect all people of the known universe in the major 9 areas: education, economic, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, and law. And based on that, I said, I've never heard anything like this. But this man, this giant of a man, was able to explain.
Hey, Mac 285.
Say it again.
No, I was just wishing Mac 285 greetings. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. Please continue. And
that's right. And so at the end of the talk, doing the Q&A, and then at the end of the talk for the book signing, I waited and allowed people to go in front of me. I was in line, but I wanted to have some time, even if it was a minute after shaking this man's hand and having my copy of the code signed personally by Neely Fuller Jr. to me. Now, I took this book home. Even in the talk and discussion, in his talk, I still didn't get it. I couldn't get my head around the concepts and the processes in which you go about decoding racism, white supremacy, and how it operates and functions in all those major 9 areas that everyone spoke of. Mm-hmm. I still couldn't. It was years, like probably 3 or 4 years. And then one day I was at work and the light bulb just went off. And it was something he said regarding watching and observing people, non-white, those people that are classified as non-white, and those people that classify themselves as white, in their normal activity, doing anything directly or indirectly on any given time of day. And once I saw how so-called, how victims of racism interact with people that are classified as people that are classifying themselves as white, I begin to understand. There's a code, and then there's an unspoken language, physical language, that when people that are classified as non-white interact with people that classify themselves as white. And it's almost like a childlike behavior when you see it. It's almost like an adolescent behavior. Not because the person is not an adult or the person is not intelligent. That person does not understand racism, white supremacy. So therefore, anything that they do in relationship to any people in the known universe would always be diminished because of the system of racism, white supremacy. And those people that classify of racism, white supremacy, better than being human, rather than being anything other than white, they take great pleasure in that classification and all of the privileges that it allows them, unrestricted, in all of the major 9 areas of people's activity. That's all I have to say right now.
I also got something to say, real quick, just real fast. Like I think it was on the screen. I don't know if you're sharing it, just you're not sharing the screen before I walked in here, but hip hop cartoons, right? That's my friend, and that's a meeting where I went to because. Yeah, that's a meeting where I went to confirm it. Because, your girl got shadow banned for real permanently of Twitter. Permanently. And I sent the picture just so he could share it with everybody who's allowed. Your girl can't get on Twitter. Never again. No way, no how. I don't know what I did or what I said, but I'm sure it had something to do with, nothing. Sure it had nothing to do with nothing. So, when that's the only way I could go. I was trying to put feelings about it on Twitter when it happened, but it just seemed to so happen they give me my shit back only to tell me that I'm permanently banned. I can only read things, and I thought, well, goddamn, why am I permanently banned? I mean, it's not like I don't know. I really don't know what happened. I can't say what the last thing it was I posted that was so deflammatory. I can't remember because I don't know if I would have done that or not. I'm pretty cautious about just random shit, probably because I'm gonna run for office. It would hinder me, to put something stupid out there, really stupid, as I see it every day. Ugly shit is always being put out there. And I was like, man, I'm not even gonna fight it. Let the old white racist motherfucking white boar go ahead and take my shit. You realize that, right? That an South African, Dutch white boar took my motherfucking shit, hindered me from speaking. A black nationalist. You realize that, right? So I was like, all right, eat a dick. It's whatever. But this is where I went. I went to hip hop cartoons. And even then, I was like, on YouTube, I was like, maybe this message will get to him. Because I knew that even before I found out about, there was, before Jesse, I knew he existed, and I knew that he was making stuff. And so I knew that was my friend. I knew I could go there to confirm what I already knew. And it upset the balance of my life. Because I don't really cry for like stars and shit. I will cry for E40, and I will cry for a whole bunch of other shit that mattered to me in my lifetime growing up. And this was one of them. I wept tears till I fell asleep, till the nighttime, till the show came on. Then I got on and I went off. Then I must have did enough to where I fell asleep till today. I woke up and I'm still going to fuck off. Why? Because of certain key factors that, I felt like people wasted his time coming up at the end, asking him all kinds of fucking ignorant ass questions when they knew clearly that there was no confusion. It was made plain. I felt that like the more he had to answer stupid ass questions, the more he led it up to, look, you're the leader. You be the leader, Anybody could be the leader because they pick it up. And then as we're making all these claims to delineate, and all these things that we're making these moves, people were slowly forgetting the code. And so when you hear people saying they're on code, we know goddamn well they're not talking about this code. That's some alleged moral code of compass, or some old bullshit because they think they're black. There's some sort of black code that's innate, initial. Like, yeah, okay, maybe in some aspects, but not to fight racism, white supremacy. And not everybody's built that way. And not everybody has that in their system. Not everybody's built that way. So, you got people that are on fucking lives of mammoisms and motherfucking buck broken and bootlickers and shit like that. So that's not necessarily ingrained. Then you got the rebellious type, the Dr. Khalid Muhammad type, like, I'm gonna raise up a land of, I'm this and that. And, you got those types, and you got this type. So I feel like his work should be lived on, and like we should do it, especially now in the time that we're asking about, or we're demanding reparations and tangibles, and that we're constantly saying that delineation is the wave and woo woo woo, and that there's no leader, the code is the leader. Then we should really mean that and stand on it. Yeah, thank you. That he is from there, so it doesn't fucking matter. We do know that, Jesse, but it doesn't fucking matter. He is from there, no? It's a Dutch man born in Africa, right? Either way, that's the way the nuance works, doesn't it?
On paper.
But doesn't it work that way? Isn't it the nuance? That if you're born there, that's what you are, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't agree either. But that's the way it is, right? He's a motherfucking Dutch man born to our motherland, and he's running havoc everywhere. So, motherfucking villain, stop the villain. It's not gonna be this way though. Because he lives and breathes racism, white supremacy. That's another thing though. I'm saying that the code is the leader. And it's a fucking relatively easy to understand book. My favorite is the Word Guide. Without the Word Guide, I would never be so equipped to ask the motherfucking questions I ask all the time. Like, it'd be like, you should never want to talk to me in real life when you see me. Because I will ask you all sorts of questions. Even when you ask me questions, I'm gonna ask you questions. Make certain kind of, like, well, what made you the the who said you were qualified to say this to that, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Because I actually read it, understood it, and I do understand racism, white supremacy, and I'm definitely not fucking confused. And I do receive that the people that need justice, the most vulnerable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are very important, serious, lifeline things that we should add to our moral code of compass, which everybody has one. The what you will and won't do parts of you, And so I believe that is very important. I'm saddened. I'm so saddened, but I'm not saddened. I'm happy that he's free of some of this bullshit. And he didn't have to live you don't have to continue to live watching the bullshit. He's free now. So, let's just be happy that he's free now. And I'm very happy that is what crosses my mind, is he's free. He's living, he's free. I got him, he's free. You know what I mean? So Allah got him, he's free. So let's be happy with that. What are you doing, Jesse?
Right. He's no longer confined. I was showing the audience, we ain't just talking about it, we living it.
Yeah,
and Brother Ben already know. He got the books already. This is the expanded edition.
We're sharing it. We're sharing a book, because the dog can't have anything of her own. She got to share it. We're sharing a book. The dog don't have no bread. But that's okay. Yeah,
fortunately, we got some water damage to the cover, but I had a flood in my apartment. It's been hell on wheels living where I'm at. But either way,
can you dry it out? Can you dry it out and then wrap it up in plastic to preserve it?
It's already dry.
It's already dry. It has some water damage. I had a flood above me, like the whole apartment above me flooded.
Okay, and I'm just making a suggestion, because with that great work right there, man, you need to wrap it up, is because if you got this stinking ass so who is this trick down there in Florida that wanted to ban all the Black History books? The panties, yeah, the panties. Yeah, so it's very, very essential that
can't ban your brain though. You can say whatever, burn whatever, but if you read it, you got it. So it's there. Can't
and
ban
then I have the 84 edition too. I'm sure Brother Ben has it as well.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And see, knowledge like that, man, needs to be preserved. You see what I'm saying?
I read that book like 10 years before I even had seen I ever met Jesse. I said, I have plenty of Black family that got fucking
Brother Ben, I was about the same age that you met him, that I had came in contact with his works.
Okay.
So I was
All right.
I had submersed myself in some greatness before anybody had ever said anything. So that's when I get online and I start thinking about these things about it's new for y'all on the internet, but it's not new for the doll. The doll has been engrossed in our culture, but not just in our culture, but has been engrossed in serious readings of works because learn. I need to learn something that I already had innate in me. You know what I mean?
But let me just share this with you.
Go ahead.
Is that just to give you a little backdrop, and this is nowhere in comparison to the great loss of I mean, when I heard that Neely Fuller Jr. had transitioned, it stunned me. And I think the last feeling I had like that was when my father passed away. It was almost as if my father passed. It was I had to actually sit down and take it all in.
Right. It's because
because even yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, because when an elder passes away, brother, the whole library goes with them.
Yeah, and I had.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Yes, ma'am. You most certainly can.
I too, Yeah, I too am always saddened to hear that any of our revolutionary people, people who are of Black people, about Black people, has passed on. But we
Yes,
as
ma'am.
Black people, we always know that life is not forever, even with ourselves. And
Right.
that as our Black people are very spiritual people, no matter what religion they follow. So we know that
Exactly.
He is only in transition to Allah God and in a better place, which will all be one day, you know. So that's my belief and understanding. But I was a little saddened when I heard about it too, as I always am.
I feel
Oh,
too.
Yeah,
yes,
Because,
ma'am.
you know,
Absolutely.
when you lose
It's
a
because,
figure,
I
you
felt
got to
like
realize
almost
we're
like
free from
the
this
past.
madness that we live in. This is the Myopha, the dark part of the Myopha, the 2025 version of the Myopha. So what?
Yeah.
So
So
what
it's
we're
like a relief. It's a relief from that.
saying
And
is,
you're moving on to something better. That's all it is.
our
You know,
elders.
but
No,
yeah.
Even when
you no
I
longer.
just went to a funeral, right? I told you about my father. Like I consider my father, right? He suffered
Hmm.
through apartheid and all that, and he made it through it. He did great fucking works. The
Right.
like my father, my best friend's father, right? And we went to a funeral, and thousands of people were there, and it was just like it's online, it was everywhere, right? Does this
Hmm.
man from South Africa, South African born, raised Black man, you know what I mean?
the name of the country is Azania, Lady Che.
Zania, thank you, Shabaka. Xanian, um, you know, he did great work. So when I see things like this come out of his country, that is a fucking villain, that is the exact thing we should be fighting against, is a thing like that. A fucking a Dutchman that's on the land of our ancestry, that's terrorizing everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do
Fucking
agree with
fucking
that. I
illness,
do.
a virus. He's like a plague of fucking deceit. Seriously,
No,
shit. He's
I
like
would
a
say this.
plague, like the
He's
black
actually
plague,
doing.
white plague. You get it?
Yeah,
And
he's actually doing what the code says.
yep,
He's expanding, retrofitting, and doing the maintenance of racism and white supremacy.
exactly,
That is what he's doing. So
exactly.
it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh no, he knows exactly what.
So, and if we are adherents to the compensatory code system for thought, speech, and action for victims of racism and white supremacy in all of its major 9 areas, we do understand the task and the challenge that is before us.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the time that I was at the talk at S1 bookstores here in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Where's it at in Los Angeles, SO1? Because you do know they have one up there in Panthertown as well, too.
It's on La Brea and I believe it's La Brea and Overland.
Okay, yeah, I know the corner up there near the Baldwin Hills.
Yeah, right. But it used to be on Manchester.
Okay.
And La Brea. Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing it is, when I met him, when he signed my, like the brother was saying that he had the flood in his apartment, I keep mine in a safe.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Exactly.
It's in a safe, and it's double wrapped in cellophane.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'll
sir.
let you
Because
know.
you want to pass this knowledge on down to the next generations.
And I rarely take it out. Rarely do I take it out.
Right.
Rarely.
Rarely
do I
expect that.
even allow anyone to don't. I show a few people. I said, no, brother, don't flip through this like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're not going to consume this because there's no pictures.
No pictures.
Exactly.
There's no pictures. There's no there isn't anything like that you can understand this information from. I said, now you may read a section and it may get redundant, but it's not. It's redundant for a purpose. It's for a purpose, and I didn't understand it because it confused me.
Right.
But
and one of the other books that most people say that confuse them is the Bible. That's a very confusing book. But when you understand racism and white supremacy, it's not confusing. because religion is one of the major 9 areas.
Yep.
Right.
In which they control and dominate those people that are classified as non-white.
Yep.
Right. That's the biggest religion. It's racist white supremacy.
So we have the opportunity based on his legacy and the energy. This was Neely Fuller Jr.'s life. This was his life. So if you say, what is the person's religion? What is their ethos? What is their denomination? Compensatory code was his religion.
Yep.
If you want to, if he had a religion, and in that talk he brought up religion. He said, "Now this is the area that I try," because someone asked him in during the Q&A, does he believe in God?
Nope.
He said, "I believe in truth, justice, and correctness."
Mm-hmm.
So racism, white supremacy is a clear marker of injustice.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Exactly.
So he said, "Now, do I believe in
our bodies? It's on our brains."
Correct. Yes, and he said, "Well," he said, "But do I believe in a?" And this is what he said. If I remember verbatim, he said, "Do I believe in an afterlife? Do I believe that there's some?" He said, "It has to be."
Right.
And I said, and then he said, because whatever that entity or those entities or that energy is, brought me, Neely Fuller, into this existence. That blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was literally, you know, when someone asks you a question or asks you, "Do you remember me?" and you kind of remember their face, but you don't really remember the name, but you know you met them somewhere.
Yep.
Right.
Until they bring something to your memory of when you met them or when you guys first encountered each other, and you say, "Oh yeah, we was over at." That's the effect that it had on me. So I think a independent. Now, see, if people got to understand this, we are all independent compensatory coders to decode every action, directly or indirectly, as it relates to racism, white supremacy.
Yep.
See, and Neely Fuller says there's no such evidence of a right race or any other race other than the human race. But because of the invention of racism, white supremacy, we live in a caste system dominated by a group of people that prefer to be classified as white than their anthropological name, which is Caucasian, Caucasoid, or any other names they go by.
I got an accurate term for them. It's called cave beast, because at the time that we was developing the concept of brain surgery, navigation, and what have you, these clowns was living on all fours, living in caves, eating raw.
Correct.
That was their culture. They had no culture. That was their culture.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And this isn't hatred. You see what I'm saying? But what it is that the worst form of hatred is hatred of self. You see what I mean? Okay, because the X-Man, when he was alive, you know, he had mentioned that off in his autobiography, and that's why I stand on that square. Yes, sir.
Well, you're always going to have self-hate when you don't understand racism, white supremacy. That's one of the components. That's one of the aspects and aspects of racism, white supremacy. If no one has, if you can't go anywhere to get answers or get logic or clarity to the status in which you operate in as a human being under a system which is unjust, which is non-human. Then you're going to have self-hate. You can't do anything but turn all of those unanswered questions in on self.
That's right.
That's
right.
You know, I go through a lot. Hold on, real fast. I gotta give you an example. I go through it all the time, right? Because of my milky skin, right? And I go through this all the time. And I'm like, everybody's like, you hate yourself, right? Somebody tells me that just recently, like 2 days ago, right? I said, No, baby. I love myself. I love every inch of this, and I'm glad I look the way I do. I don't wish to look no other way. I love me. I wish not to be any other way than what the universe has prescribed me to be. I'm a star seed. You know what I mean? Star seeds shine bright. It's different. I was like, I said, I am what I am. I don't want to be nothing else. I don't want to be nobody else. I want to be just the way I was brought into the fucking world. Deal with it or don't. It's just what it is, right? But when someone said, I hate myself, I was like, no. I don't hate myself. I love myself. Just because I don't think that white people, I'm like, again, on the fact of the Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I don't think that I don't want to interact. I'm a separatist. You know what I mean? And I believe in that. I believe in certain things. I believe the motherfucking white man is the devil. He's not suspected. He is a fucking white terrorist, a pariah. He's not suspected. White supremacy is a supremacist. It is just that way. There's no gray areas. It's because the things in the code book, when you just look at the code book itself, the original one, it's in black and white. There is no gray. There are no pictures. There is nothing. It is black and white. It was made plain and simple. You know what I mean? Very easy to understand. The thing is that when we're brainwashed and whitewashed as we were, of course, we're going to be questioning certain things because of certain background. Like in my case, I have a mother that's a European lady, right? A mother that's a racist. I didn't really realize it. I kind of should have. When she cut my motherfucking hair off when I was young. Should have realized it when she called me a bad word to my face. You know, should have realized it then. I didn't. It wasn't even, it fucked me up because I'm the one that had to check all the stupid boxes instead of the boxes that really mattered. I'm the one that had to check the white box in my when doing paperwork. It wasn't just black. I had to check black, Indian, white. You know what I mean? All these things, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is stupid. The more I realize it, the more that I start to live in my exact fucking truth. And I go to where, when we talk about our other thought leaders, when they say you have to have at least 10 years of being or claiming on any kind of paperwork of what you are, right? Okay, well, in my shit, and I'll take it to the ultimate form of white supremacy, jail. That's where racism, white supremacy lives. When they capture you, they put you in jail, right? So not only am I black, Indian, and French, I'm Muslim. I'm a woman. You know what I mean? A real woman, not a pretend woman. A real child breathing, fucking divine feminine woman. Black, Indian, and French. You know what I mean? That's what I always put. That's what I always put every time they caught me. And I feel like if that's where you need to look the most, there it is. There you have it, good in the yard. But in my life, I feel like I've had to fight colorism, which is sometimes some days worse than racism, white supremacy, and it's based on the same fucking racist, white supremacy, supremacist fucking thought process. How can you hate me so much, but you're just hating your cousin? You know what I mean? Or somebody a product of your fucking same situation. Product of fucking rape, if we really want to look at it that way. You know what I mean? Free people are not. Black people were violated. You did? So it is just that. And when you understand racism, white supremacy, there is no confusion. When you can't have no empathy for them. Their tears, their white tears don't matter. Their white lies don't matter. They don't matter. They're just here to colonize us, confuse us, and breed with us because we're fucking strong in nature. Our fucking energy, our the stuff that we make children with, our eggs, our fucking the swimming stuff, all that stuff is strong. It'll always be strong, and compared to their weak shit, they have to be so dominating with their fear and the fact that they got us like that, worried or scared. But we're not scared no more. And him leaving and freeing his human shell to be at peace and free of all this, that's a fucking blessing. He's free now. He's free, and we have to continue the fight, or else our children, okay, that we have in this generation, I think like me and Jesse had a child right now, or whatever. If we had a child, our child has to carry the fucking flag for us. And our child shouldn't be burdened by the what ifs and the what hasn't, or the people before us didn't do and they left us with shit, or these ones didn't do and they left us with here. They're coming into a new generation of no more, and they're learning, they're watching their parents get on code, the compensatory code, not this alleged bullshit black code or cultural code. He gave us this for a reason. And if we don't do the right things or utilize it the correct way or tell the correct people thank you, like again, like I said, Mr. Bobby, or On the Shoulders of Giants, or hip hop cartoons, or anything else that drew attention to Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. in his earlier works, then we weren't listening. And that in itself is selfish. That in itself is wrong. Because I would like my black child to learn the things that it is. It is a dangerous place for black people. We have no friends. If we want a friend, we got to look in the motherfucking mirror, spend our black dollars with black people, and breed black. That's it. Amongst that, we fight racism, white supremacy every motherfucking day. As long as they're alive, we're alive. And we have to fight them. Are we racist? No. Can't be racist. We don't own shit. We don't have shit. Are we supremacists? Is there supremacy there? If you have black supremacy in your heart, hey, that's where it lives. You know what I mean? It's where it lives. They know it. We know it. We ain't got to make a whole fucking scene about it. Just like Pan-Africanism and black nationalism, it lives where it lives. You know what you are. If you can't admit it, you can't say it out loud, then you're fucking faking the funk. You know what I mean? I could clearly say it because I did it the other night on a racist program. He asked me a question. He asked me if I was part of the FBI. I said, goddamn right. And I said, I'm also a black nationalist. And that right there struck fear in their heart. Oh my God, it's like roaches scattering. You dig? White roaches scattering all over when a motherfucking God enters the room. You dig? A goddess, I'm a woman. You dig? Seriously, we should be proud. And not only just proud, but super fucking hyped up that we are what we are. And we are where we are. And as far as we get, the dangerous we get. And that's always been.
Well, let me share this with you, sister. Is that
I'm done.
Is that now that we're in this expedient advanced system of technology, hyper technology, artificial intelligence, they're getting ready to make another move for the same reason, to expand the system of racism, white supremacy, but on a technological level. That's the whole reason for the Elon Musk and the SpaceX and all of that. But again, we should not be we should not be under any illusion, that that's one of the components of maintaining and retrofitting. See, they changed the wheels and the oil on this system that we call racism, white supremacy.
Exactly.
You see, they don't just let it just run on the same motor. It doesn't run on the same wheel, same chassis. No, they pull that, they bring that system in to these think tanks, and they look at the system and see where there's any wear and tear and how they can modify and retrofit this system of racism, white supremacy in order to gain the same control as it relates to education, economics, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, and law. So when we look at that, this is our grand opportunity to come up with a collective to dismantle the system of racism, white supremacy.
Bing, bing, bing.
Wherever we may see it.
Work with him, Junior.
Say that again, bro.
Work with him, Junior. To quote Bundini Brown, when Ali used to go up there and administer correction to brain dead, ass scratching Negroes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have to understand this because they have upped the ante, because they think now and they believe now and have systems in place and models in place where they believe they can manage. See, they've already did the physical. Now they want to do the technological management of racism, white supremacy from afar.
Exactly.
Using digital data and information to keep their fingers on the pulse of the movements and actions and speech of those people they classify as non-white.
Exactly. You see
what
I'm saying?
So we understand that the weapons of racism, white supremacy have been elevated. The economics of racism, white supremacy, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, labor, law. And I'll keep repeating those terms in that fashion to remind myself, to remind me that racism, white supremacy is still alive and well.
Yes.
And we must take it that serious. And I thank the universe for allowing me to live in a time where I could meet a man of the stature and intellect and intelligence of Neely Fuller Jr. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've served this country in the military. I've been in a lot of organizations over the years. There's not one you can name that I haven't been a part of.
Okay.
But there was still something lacking. There was still something that didn't connect in the logic based on what I was observing as it regards to people's activity. And when I mean people of the known universe.
Mm-hmm.
Until I met them, I've been in the nation. I've been in there for a while.
Okay.
So I've been in the All African People's Revolutionary Party. I was part of SNCC. I was part of the New Vanguard. I was part of all sorts of organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
But you will come out of those organizations, not that those organizations didn't do the work that those organizations had a right to do based on compensatory code. None of them rose to the level of Area 9. And everybody in the sound of my voice know what Area 9 is when Neely Fuller talks about level 9. Level 9 is a permanent act. It's a permanent act based on logical understanding and responsibility when you take level 9 action. And you all know what that means. Is this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why it appears that nothing has changed.
Exactly.
You see, so I came out of all those organizations and went on a self-retreat and sequestering of myself to get my mind around what I was beginning to understand based on repetitive reading and understanding of compensatory code.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, just like us all, we all have family members, we all have relatives, we all have loved ones and friends, dear friends, that we wish that we could just take and feed them the book, feed them the word, the code.
Right.
But it doesn't work like that. But we know it doesn't work like that. You have to immerse yourself in compensatory logic and remove the fear that you may understand the age-old question is, and we've all asked it, why do they hate us so much?
Because why do they hate us?
That's it. So I begin to understand that they have a God question. They have a God pathology question. Their question is and just to get in, and this is dealing with area of education. Historians, anthropologists, and paleontologists, and human evolutionists have looked at this concept of out of Africa. They know the truth. By the early 1600s, the concept of whiteness did not even exist until then. They manufactured this concept and identity to give them God-given rights to go out and subdue all lands and bring it under their dominion and their subjugation based on the system of racism, white supremacy, which they constructed based on observing all people in the reverse as it relates to their culture, their language, and where they may be anywhere on the planet.
Yes, sir. Miriam Makeba had mentioned that there too, brother. You know, not cutting your wisdom.
Yes, Miriam Makeba. No. Yeah, I remember when she said that.
Yes, sir.
So
and they used to refer to her as Mama Africa. Okay, now,
Mama. That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
And then if you listen to some of our playbacks, man, of our old podcast called Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced, we used to play African Sunset, you know, in the beginning of the intro, right? And Sister Mary Makeba had stated that in the beginning, we had the land, and then here comes the white man who stated, well, you did not exist until we discovered you. Poof, all of a sudden you discovered, which is absolutely ridiculous. It was Black women that gave the world the concept of feminine hygiene. We had to show them nasty savages how to wash they funky, stinking, nasty asses, is because they believed in filth. And as Brother Che had pointed out, that in some of their doctrines, that it was what did you say, Brother Che? That it was a sin for them not to bathe?
Yes, a sin for them to bathe.
I take it further. It was unholy for them to use hygiene or to bathe.
Unholy for them to use hygiene. Now, let me ask you this here, no disrespect to the ladies. Can you imagine, man, how them white broads smelled, man, you know, not using feminine hygiene?
Fucking funky.
Yeah, I can imagine it make you want to vomit. You know what I'm saying?
They lick themselves every day. Like, no self-respecting woman even wants to go the whole night without fucking taking a shower. Fuck what you mean? Or even a fucking soapy little basic duck bath. No self-respecting woman even wants to go to sleep like that. So it's like, how the fuck did they live all stank like that? You know, you dig? That shit's just crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I appreciate everyone's wisdom and knowledge. I always learn something every talk show. I appreciate it. My holy book is the Holy Quran, and in there it teaches that Islam is not a religion. It's a way of life. Okay. And as I see it, it's a peaceful way of life. But also the way I see it is in order to live in peace, according to what our leader Elijah Muhammad taught us, is that we have to separate from these white devils in order to gain that peace. And it also states that Allah God judges his people, who is us, by our deeds. Okay, so what we do in life does count, and how we help people, what we do for people as a whole and as a unit counts as well. So yes, I do believe in the afterlife, or as we call it, paradise or the hereafter. And then thirdly, I want to state that in life we all have trials and tribulations. And one of our trials and tribulations as Black people, I hate to say it, in America is having to deal with these white folks. Right. You know, we have to deal with their white supremacy, and we have to work around it, or just get rid of it, or get rid of them and get them off the earth, or whatever. And this is why we need the key unit, which is unity. We need unity amongst each other as a Black whole. We need to stop trying to impress these white people and trying to beg from these white people for them to like you. They don't like you. They don't like you because they can't be you. We need to separate from them and learn how to do for ourselves as we are taught to do for ourselves and not for them. We need to get away from them. We're living in a time now where we're forced to have to do for ourselves. Look at what Trump is doing. Yeah, he don't care about us.
No,
we're forced to do for ourselves. And then the messenger called this into action. He prophesied it. Eventually, we're going to have to do for ourselves. But in order to do that, we have to have a good unit amongst each other. We have to unite amongst each other. Stop with all this envy and jealousy and hatred. Right. And he thinks she are that. He thinks she are that. They're just being themselves. You think they are that. That's why you said it. You're the one with the problem causing cancer in your heart about it. And they at home eating bean soup and cookies. Chilling. Yeah. So we need to get off of that, because that's a seed that was laid out through slavery from the Willie Lynch syndrome.
That
peace,
part.
love, and happiness.
Jab Jamboree, salute to you, Jab Jamboree. Okay, yeah, you are right about that there, Sister Hesep shoot. And then in about 15 minutes, yeah, go ahead, Brother Che.
Well, let me say this and then see, and that's the reason why it's so brilliant. You know, people said that if America guaranteed the probability, which became the actuality, that a Neely Fuller would exist on this planet, America brought out a Malcolm X, and Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, John Henry Clark, J. Rogers,
former heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali. You got to
mention all of the injustices based on racism and white supremacy is guaranteed to bring about, if you will, saviors, revolutionaries, great thinkers, logical thinkers in all of those major 9 areas. Now, and see, I didn't understand this. I said I was in the nation. I'm Miles 54 here in Compton.
Yes, sir.
I'm the minister of Samar Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
I'm the minister of Samar Muhammad. And I was in there for why. So I'm saying this. Not until I met this man, Neely Fuller, did I had to go 360 degrees in the opposite and counterclockwise to bring me back to full focus. And when he made the statement and he laid out the major 9 areas and he repeated them redundantly through his whole talk, he spoke about how racism, white supremacy is interwoven into education, economic, entertainment, politics, sex, war, religion, and law. Sex, war, religion, and law. Until you understand racism, white supremacy, and how it operates indirectly or directly as it relates to those major 9 areas, you would only be confused. Yeah, because there's no safe haven. There's no safe haven in any of those major 9 areas that will give you clarity and understanding of yourself, your status and status in any environment you find yourself in, until you understand racism and white supremacy.
Yes, sir. And then, as you know, Hollywood was built on that out there in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? And then, too, when you look at these jigaboo movies, the ass scratches, the Yasabalkis, the Coons, and what have you, right? So there was 2 movie actresses who I respect to the utmost, and I do not believe they compromised themselves, that there would be Ruby Dee and Cicely Tyson.
No, they did not.
Yeah, you see what I mean? But Dorothy Dandridge, man, they passed her all around, man, which is really sad. Same thing they did with Michelle Nichols, which was really sad. You see what I'm saying? And then the cold part about it is, like on our platform, Brother Che would tell you, Lady Che would tell you, Sister Hesep, she would tell you, when we were on Blog Talk, I used to kick so many idiots, man, off the forum, man, because, see, they will come up there on our platform telling us that we are wrong, telling us that they don't like it. Well, hey, man, you ain't got to be here. You know, let's show you to the door, eject button. Because one thing that I am not going to do, that I refuse to do, is to sit up here and believe this bullshit that we are all the same. No, we are not. Because guess what, people? Now, guess what? It's February. So all of you out there who think that we're all the same, come join me out here in 3 months at the summer solstice, when it'll be about a wind chill of about 115 degrees above Fahrenheit. And let's sit in the sun together. And then when your skin starts peeling and you say, oh, water, the paramedics for you. But you can bet me that you would take my black ass out there to a place like New England this time of year and you will leave me in the snow. What would happen if you leave me in the snow? I will die.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
I was like,
this video on the.
I'm gonna go sit outside with Shabaka in the sun, and ain't nothing gonna happen to me because my melody is just that great to inside. So it's not gonna happen to me like that. But man, I don't watch these motherfuckers turn into like lobsters in the wintertime. So we don't even you know, see, I'll turn fucking red when you're lying. You turn red any other time. You know, whereas me, I'm probably gonna go back into my peanut butter color as usual. And I'll probably just be sitting there trying to match my birthmark on my arm. That's probably about it. I'll kick my legs up by the cactus and just chill. You know, with Rich Bucket while we laugh at you motherfuckers fucking frying it, like just frying up like fried ass chicken. You know what I mean? So we're gonna laugh and giggle at that, because when the moon comes down, then I'm definitely gonna be rejuvenated and my melanin is gonna light up again on the inside like bursts of fucking lightning. So I'm not even worried. I'm not even one bit worried about it. But in the snow, same shit. I don't watch you motherfuckers turn red as soon as the wind hits your cheeks. You know what I mean? Where you think you're all
so let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Is the compensatory code? See, one thing that Neely Fuller explained in Active Us and Deplored of Us is that the code is not finished. That's the reason why he said he called it the United Compensatory. It's a United Compensatory code, but independent. So our job is to add more code to the code.
Correct, sir.
It's just like a computer code. It's just like an algorithm. Our job is to add more code to the code, because they're going to bring about more what? Racism, white supremacy within those major 9 areas.
And that's
so our job.
I'm ready to add to it. Like
we should. This is what he said. If you don't have a place to be, you don't have a job to be at. If you don't have a task that you're doing with your mind and with your hands, the only thing you should be discussing is how to minimize the effects of racism, white supremacy, as it relates to those major 9 areas.
That's what he said. He did say that, sir.
That's what he said.
He did say that. I'm ready. I'm ready to add to all that. Because I study it, I live it, breathe it, die. You know, that's the one thing that you have to understand. Is it you have to be willing to live, breathe, and die for the fucking war. We're at war. We're at war.
Lady Che.
What? Go ahead. I'm ready. Go
ahead.
I
was going to play this clip. I've been holding on to it for
go ahead.
hour.
Go ahead. You told me to come in here.
Okay, and I'm going to have to pull out.
And how it works. Everything else that you understand will only confuse you. And sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. If the question is, do white people now fear the white supremacists, fear genetic annihilation? I don't think so. Not now. That's why I call them white supremacists. See, once you get in a supreme position, you don't fear annihilation, except it looks like you're losing your power. Then you have that fear. Now, up to now, they haven't displayed where they fear that they're losing that power. Even though I believe that they are losing some of it, but gradually. But as of now, they're right on top of the situation. So, they're just trying to maintain what they already have. Now, I base that premise on, if it came right down to it, they would have to make a decision. If they intend to retain this power that they have, which they now have, they have to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to do justice, in which case they do make themselves vulnerable. supremacy with justice, then they don't have it. They shouldn't have that fear, but they still might have it. But if they believe that black people will not do the correct thing, in other words, they believe that black people do not believe in justice themselves, then they have another option, and that is to kill all the black people, which they can do. Nobody's going to stop them, because nobody cares. Not even black people care, if they tell the truth. Individual black people care, but generally speaking, black people don't really care what happens to black people, because black people kill each other every day in large numbers and think that it's fun. That's the truth, because the white supremacists have programmed us that way. In fact, we think that it's cool, particularly black males. Killing black males is almost a rite of passage.
Yeah,
that's right up until this day, it's been passed on. That is a ingrained a part of black culture. It's more of a part of black culture than anything else. Black people killing and mistreating other black people is a part of black culture. If you want a definition for black culture, that's just about it. So the white supremacists have no problem with that, because they will be killing us and we'll be killing each other. So if they wanted to annihilate us at all, it would be a piece of cake. It would be a piece of cake. But there's a problem with it. Over the period of time that the white supremacists have been in business, they've become accustomed to it. Now, accustomed to what? To practicing white supremacy. And what is the purpose of practicing now? According to logic, from at least my viewpoint, and studies and observations, it's white supremacy. They're not after land, they're not after money, they have all of that. The idea of white supremacy is a value within itself. That's what they're riding on now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's chess, not checkers.
Black people, then they're no longer white supremacists. And then they will have no longer a reason for existence, because they have made that their reason for existence. All of their movies, all of their folklore, everything that they do, every move that they make, proves that white supremacy is their reason for wanting to breathe, even wanting to get up in the morning. White people become lazy, really, when they are not, they don't have that adrenaline rush of practicing racism in one form or another. That's what keeps them going. That's what makes them get up real early before anybody else gets up. If they don't have that, they have no incentive hardly to do that. Now this is based on evidence. Even when they talk about going into outer space, they are looking for people. What people? Well, their folklore tells us. Look at Darth Vader, Darth Invader. Back in the 1930s, it was Flash Gordon looking for the clay people. Clay people meaning people made out of mud. That was in the 1930s. So it's always this thing, this driving force of racism. That's what keeps them going. That's their adrenaline. That's their cocaine. And if they can't have that, they don't see any point in being here. They've done everything else. All of the inventions. They could feed the whole world if they wanted to, with a snap of a finger. They don't want to do that. They like seeing people suffer. If the people are dark, they like to keep that pot stirred, like to keep it going. They cannot deny this. In fact, they brag about it. Turn on any television set, that's what they're bragging about. They like to tear up things, build things up to tear them up. They know how to build things better than anybody. But they like death. They like to see things die. Even when they nurse everything back to health, and they know how to do that, they like to kill it all over again. It's a perversion of what the universe is supposed to be about. And that's why we are having this conversation, presumably, that we need a better system. Got a wonderful planet here if we treat it correctly.
Yeah, he's right about
Now, some
that.
people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.
Well, may he rest in power. Okay, on
Yes,
that.
may he rest in power. Shabaka, I have to get this out. So we're friends with the brother that came up with the cartoon, Carlton Way. That's him
Okay.
that does the cartoons for Neely Fuller Jr.'s speeches and
Okay.
material that's in the over the years. So, Dr. Ben, Brother Ben, I don't know if you're familiar with this brother, but he's been doing cartoons of Neely Fuller's work for the past like 10 years. And
Yes, I'm familiar with.
Okay, so we're friends with Carlton Way. He's one of our subscribers, one of our day ones. So shout out to Carlton Way.
All right, definitely appreciate the brother's work. Okay,
Shout out, bro.
Yeah, where's Sister Head Seth shoot at?
She's still here. She just turned her camera off.
Oh, okay. All righty. Okay, so I'm gonna bid everybody a good morning. All right, it's because I got a bunch of ripping and running to do today, and I'm not as young as I used to be. You know what I'm saying?
All right. And thank you for joining us for season 10, episode 2 of Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced.
Yes, sir. And then also too, we need donations. You know what I'm saying? Is because we're trying to expand this platform since we got kicked off of Blog Talk. It's an uphill battle. So over the years, you know, we thank all who have participated. But hit Brother Che or there on the Cash App is because we need to raise up $10,000. Okay.
The Cash App got closed out, so you can't donate to the Cash App, but you can donate to the PayPal.
Right. Okay. And I'll get with you on that there, Brother Che. Oh, there's Sister Head Sep shoot. Because what we're trying.
I was having technical difficulties. You have to excuse me.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I understand the technical difficulties. We go through it all the time. But we all know what that is about. You see what I'm saying? Sir. Yeah, we all know what that is about.
May I make my closing comment?
Shabaka was in the making his.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm done, sister. Go ahead.
What I was just going to say was that, you know, I love reading this book, The Fall of America, because everything that's in this book is coming true today.
Yes.
And it talked about, like in this book, it talked about the decline of the dollar. That's happening.
Right.
And it talked about, let me go into the chapter where it talked about that real quick. I'm sorry for the hold up. I had it labeled, but for some reason.
Okay, and what they're trying to do in the meantime, sister, while you're doing your research, see, this is why they want everybody to go with this digital currency crap. Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go with the digital currencies because it is designed to break you. And just like I said, and I hope that I'm wrong on this, what they getting ready to do, people, with us, they getting ready to escort us right out here to this Mojave Desert in Southern California where the temperatures get up there to 130 degrees. You ever heard of a place called Death Valley? That's it. Yeah. That's where they're going to send
I just want to let you know, found it. It says, just 1 second. I want to, because I have to go in a few minutes. So it says the decline of the dollar. The stronghold of the American government is falling to pieces. She has lost her prestige among the nations of the earth. One of the greatest powers of America was her dollar. The loss of such power will bring any nation to weakness, but this is the media of exchange between nations. And then it goes on to further say, but today the currency of America is not backed by any sound value, silver, or gold. This is the number one fall. And then I also wanted to go into where he's talking about how the condition of our Black people is today. In many towns and cities, as we talked about this before, Shabaka, about that city in Louisiana. In many towns and cities of the southern states, even in their capitals, you will find the black man living in a very bad condition. His toilet is sometimes an open boarded up place, stinking right there in the city and diseasing the citizens because of that evil demon, the white man, who wants to give all the ill he can to a people who have served him as slaves for 400 years. This is going on in the South for go see it for yourself. And then he further goes on to say, I thank Allah and the person of Master Fadad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, who has come to deliver the Black man in America and to kill our oppressors. And then he further goes on, and then I'm almost finished here. He says he's going to make all things new. So he's just going to, like it says in the Quran, the burden is them. The burden is the devil. He's going to remove all of them off the planet. And the ones that follow him. And some of them might be black as night. You know, so we shouldn't dismay. And then I just want to say about this, brothers and sisters, what we need to do is pray, including praying all of our negativities of self away and just praying for whatever we need. And after we pray, put that prayer into action. You can do it because we're taught faith without works is dead. Peace, love, and happiness.
Yes, ma'am. And then also, too, Cruz says here, they not sending me anywhere. Maybe my ashes, but not me. I know that's right, Cruz.
I know that's right.
We ain't going nowhere. The new world order is going to be us. We looking at ourselves. And when we pass on, we ain't going with the devil. We going with God. Just keep it up here and keep up your prayers and remember that we ain't going with him. And Trump think he got the power to send us with him. To hell with us. He can't do that. He ain't God. You know, so I agree. Go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say that's my favorite verse in the Bible, James 2:26. Faith without works is dead and meaningless.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Shabaka, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Okay, and then I'll give you a call later on today, Brother Che. You know what I mean? Because I got to give me some more. This is what happens.
Your brother Shabaka.
Yes, sir. Hey, definitely a pleasure making your acquaintance with brother. You know, get with us, man. We're trying to build here, man. It's an uphill task. Now, the thing is, you all have to understand about me is that I'm on my way out. You know what I mean? And then. But I would like to enjoy at least a few years of what remaining time I'm getting. And I'm just mainly speaking on that of the law of biophysics, you know. And I cannot go before the Almighty, not knowing that I did not do my job right to relate to the generations after me of what I have lived through, so the generations after me can make the proper decisions. And I think Bruce Lee said it best. And I think Bruce Lee had said it best. In any given situation, take what is useful, leave what is useless. You know?
Hey, brother Shabaka, let me say this, brother.
Yes.
I made the universe return what you just put out to you, brother. And the job is not, the mission is not complete until the mission is complete, brother. Yes, you and I are about almost in the same generation or age group, brother. So I understand what you're talking about. So I done seen it all. You know, we both done seen stuff that most people read about or talk about. You understand?
Yes.
So this is what it is. This is the task at hand. So I'm open to the challenge because now I'm equipped with understanding and logical reasoning as it relates to those major 9 areas. And I'm gonna say this without no disrespect or no disdain on any particular area, but one area, religion is one area that I try to stray away from because it creates confliction and disagreement within the discussion of racism and white supremacy and how it operates in all of the major 9 areas.
Yeah.
If I need to reach out to the universe or out to the creator or the creators of the universes upon multi-universes, I can do that because I was brought into this existence with the innate ability to reach out, to meditate, or if you say pray, to my maker.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But you know what? Can I make a comment on that?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In reference to what you said, brother, Malcolm X said the same thing, and he was a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking. So now let me finish. Let me finish. Do not interrupt me, brother. I don't like that. I am a lady.
Wow.
Have some respect. Now, what I was going to say was that Malcolm X did say that Islam is not a religion. It is a way of life. Farrakhan said the same thing, and so did Elijah Muhammad. I don't believe in religion, personally. I believe in a way of life. And my way of life, Islam, I study Arabic verbally, and I know it fluently. Islam means peace. So the reason why I put that out there is because there's nothing wrong with praying whatever you want into existence. We have God within ourselves, right? That's not a religion. That's just a way of life. So I just want to put that out there. Now you may speak.
Okay. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak.
Yes, sir.
Listen, the United Compensatory deals with 9 major areas. Religion just happens to be one. I would say this if I was talking to a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Taoist. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me, I'm saying, at this point in time in my life. So if a person says that they're a Muslim and Islam means peace, then so be it. If a Christian says that Christianity means to be Christ-like, so be it. So I have no problem with anyone that subscribes or participates in any particular belief system or way of life. My way of life is to begin to have further understanding of the system of racist and white supremacy as it relates to those major 9 areas.
And
yes, sir. I understand. I just wanted to make that comment. That's all, brother. It was nothing negative towards anybody on the show or nothing like that.
Yeah, and I wanted to make my comment. So that's basically it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Both of y'all, Neely Fuller Jr. also mentioned about how all these religions, what they're based in and where they come from and what they subscribe to. As he also mentioned that in his compensatory guidebook, to shout out to the brother. So these are all things that could be also led astray. So these are things that are very important. I too am Muslim. I too am a believer in the Honorable Elijah. I too am follow Malcolm X, but my favorite is Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I am in all of that, as I do understand that all those things, including and not limited to what I base my life upon, the code, and what is fact is that of what kind of war we're in. When we talk about we're in an actual, we're in a race war, and some people are just coming having another awakening to such a thing. We have many awakenings as Black people. And now we're seeing some people awaken again. They might look up and they might be like, oh shit, the shit's still here. Go back to sleep. You know what I mean? And those are the ones that need to just wake up and keep their motherfucking eyes open. Because it's not going to go away if you just pacify it and try to sleep it off, And that's the thing, is that now that we have our one of our greats in this generation, go ahead and make his way to paradise, or through Mayat or whatever you want to believe in. He's gone. He's at peace now. He's free of this. Now we got to carry it on until we're free of it. Whether it be through the same means, whether we go to sleep or wake up and we're wake up in paradise, we wake up, looking and at the judgment of whether our heart weighs as much as a feather, or however we got to go, but we're right there. So in this generation, in this 2025 generation of fucking tech, and the tech is the new white supremacist. It is so intense that we practice the same goals even in that field, even with that technology, like the brother was saying, either with that, because even that is designed to take us down. It is designed to keep us further back. And if we don't step into those realms and play long game checkers or long game chess with these motherfucking demons, we are constantly going to be 10 steps behind of knowing that we had the answer the whole fucking time. We could have made these moves the whole fucking time. So we're not scared. We shouldn't be scared. If we have revolution in our heart, we shouldn't be scared. You know what I mean? And that, go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Thank you, sister. It's always a great thing to have you on here. I'm happy to see you.
All right.
I share.
Peace, love, and happiness. Have a nice day.
Thank you for joining us. All right, Brother Ben, what is your closing statement?
My closing statement is this. Compensatory code, compensatory code. I deal with nothing other than if someone says, what is my theology, my religion, or what is my main preoccupation? My main preoccupation is to help incite or excite the minds of those people that are victims of racism, white supremacy in all of the major 9 areas: economics, education, entertainment, politics, sex, religion, labor, and law, in order to offset the effects directly or indirectly or collectively of the system of racism, white supremacy.
Okay.
All right. Brother Ben.
On codify.
Real quick before you just into it. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be codified. And actually know what the codification that we are talking about means, because it's so easy for anybody to be a wannabe but not be actually in it.
Like I started it off, Lady Che. If you ain't read the compensatory code concept for victims of racism, white supremacy, textbook work guide, you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it talks about when we talk about code.
Yep. And real quick, brother. Real quick, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, brother. I just want to say the revolutionary agenda, the show after this, is coming on after this, and there's gonna be a little brief little section on where I talk about Neely Fuller Jr. in depth, more so than as I could here, because I gotta be polite as a guest. Katrina, but gotta be as a guest, yeah. So I just wanted to tell you that as well.
Put the link in the chat, Brother Ben, so you can join us over there. I'm gonna put the links to both of our channels in the private chat.
Yes, brother. And go ahead, Jesse. What was you saying? And Brother Ben, you can also finish your statement if I have been interrupting you. I apologize.
No, sister, you were right on point. I just was reiterating that I just in when I mean my leisure time, it's not leisure time. In my every waking morning or grand rising, I'm only thinking about how to codify, strategize regarding the system of racism and white supremacy.
That's true. Yes, I could dig it.
See, that's it. That's it.
That's all it is.
Regardless
I get
of what the no matter what the pillar of the system is, I speak to people in groups and people of my age, explaining or sharing with them this code.
Yep. And shun us, and they shit on us all the time, and that's on them. They don't get it.
So I'm as the young people say, I stand 10 toes down on that all day, every day, 365 days a year.
And I fight to keep it alive because it's so vital, brother. You're so right, and it's so vital to everyday existence that even as fair as I am, I got to point out the extremities. I listen for words and I see things, and I'm like, this motherfucker's a racist. There's no suspecting he is. This is a racist thing. No suspicion it is. And it is, will, and always will be that we are in a fucking race war that is designed to keep us enslaved. Whether we kick off the chains of our brain or not, that is designed to keep us enslaved in all 9 areas of human activity.
Yes, and you notice in the clip that was played that Neely Fuller said, what? Fear of what? Genetic annihilation.
Yep.
The reason why
Wilson.
And the reason, historically, the reason why they dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki is not because they were trying to defend the homeland. They did it because they could not. They feared seeing the system of those major 9 areas controlled and dominated by a people that are classified as non-white. And they went manic. They went manic, psychotic with that butt.
Yes, they
to
did.
Demonstrate that we were, before we give an inch on this control and being dominated by people that are classified as non-white, we'll blow up the whole planet.
Right? Yep. And Nagasaki and also Hiroshima were Black Japanese cities. Like they had a large Black Japanese population.
Yes, that's right.
Yep, and it's true to today that even if you look and you watch the news and what you're reading and with your eyes wide open, you're like, oh my God, these fuckers are doing this in Washington. You should just know this is all part of their demonic fucking plan of trying to conquer us again. And if we're not going to be colonized again, and we're not going to be captured, and we're not going to fucking do that because doesn't matter how many are asleep, it only takes a small few to lead the fucking masses into fucking to liberation. And whether they get on board or not, in my mind, I've already seen who's with us and who isn't with us. And that was during the time of the election. And I see the wishy-washy stuff happening regularly. And I'm like, these people will never be codified. I don't give a fuck what they say because they never read these works. They never put these works in practice on a day-to-day living schedule. We know because we put these works in practice when we go out in the street, and that's why some of us are not allowed to go in certain places together. Like I myself, me, for example, who's shadow banned again on X, had the audacity of that damn right? The audacity of him. But it's all right. It's his platform. Fuck him. He can have whatever he wants. Yeah. I know where I stand. I don't need a platform like that. However, I'll take it all the way back to old school, and I'll just go make my rounds like I used to do because I didn't have a phone, or I didn't have this, or I didn't have that. But it probably was a better situation. I didn't need these tools of fucking diabolic menacing to go ahead and carry on with a message. If I wanted it to happen, it will happen. And I believe in this compensatory code book and guidebook. I believe in the word dictionary. So it keeps me out of fucking out of jail. It keeps me out of being enslaved or captured when they want to or will want to profile me and knock on my door and acting stupid. It keeps me out of that because I'm the worst one you want to get in a room to ask you questions. I got all day, every day. I'm a pain in the ass. Ask Jesse. You know what I mean? I have applied those rules even in our relationship.
You can't solve no problem if you're not willing to have a question and a solution to that question.
Yeah, and I live by solutions and answers. I live by my sign. If I'm an Aries, which is a natural born leader, knowing that before I even asked you a question, I already had the answers, 5 of them, and at least 10 solutions. I decided to be polite. You know what I mean? So I just can't be, apparently I can't think I'm just the best at everything. I gotta let other people live too, right? So natural leadership is natural leadership. The power is taken. I just believe that when I say we, meaning we can't talk about it, we gotta be about it. And I know that as sick as I am, even as sick as I am right now, could barely fucking breathe, I'm gonna make my way somehow to get outside and bang that fucking drum powerfully because our people are intentionally being cognizant, are displaying cognitive. Thank you. I got cotton mouth. Cognitive dissonance, and we can't allow that because they are going to infect our children with it, and they are going to keep our children in the sense that the world is not a dangerous place for Black little boys and girls. And it's a lie. It is a fucking lie. It is very dangerous for our young Black children, our young Black teenagers, our young Black men and women that are going into this life thinking that things are great and they can get a job and they can do this and they can do that. When in reality, we needed to teach them trades and other fascinating things amongst the sciences and mathematics and whatnot. But we need to teach them Black sciences and mathematics. And there was only small few places that did that online. And no one wanted to give that shit credence except for me. I was like, shit, homeschool your kid, this is where I'm gonna put them. Where I would get my kid, if me and Jesse had a kid, I would get our kid full of Black awareness that would probably make me look worse than what I already do. If you couldn't tone me down. You know what I mean? Definitely turn my seat down either. You know, so sadly, the seeds I brought into the world are not built the same. That's not on me. That's just them. You know, I was built a certain kind of way. I feel like if I had another one, mine Jesse seed would be a lot harder to tone down, to turn down, and for what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Go ahead, Jesse. I'm done talking to you. God, I'm going to go to my next show talking.
You're the most militant, codified child that has ever walked the planet.
With too much soul, because it's got music in his heart. I'm going to be jamming, but I'm Black and I'm proud, all day. So probably as soon as he comes out the womb. You know what I mean? Because it's a beautiful, glorious thing when you watch our beautiful Black children come out. They're smarter, they're faster, they're greater, and it's always been a thing to in them. And thus, you know, them the places like Planned Parenthood, that was a design to kill us. That was a design to kill the women. It was designed to kill off the seed. And they don't make no qualms about taking white money to make sure that they end our lineage, they end our line, they end our pathways to keep the electricity going. We're electrical beings. We're fucking brilliant, and they don't care. They want us gone because they're jealous. They got the same stuff. They never will. They're not charismatic. They're not confident. They're not strong. They're not mentally strong. They're all the way the garbage of us. You know what I mean? So that's all I say.
So basically, you said that to say that they use all those things to compensate. Yep. They use racism and white supremacy to compensate for those things that they're innately don't have.
Yep. All that stealing of intellectual property. I mean, just watching the thing. If you just scroll on YouTube for a little bit, you'll see things that say FAFO, right? Well, fuck around and find out is a Black American term. But you'll see all these white people in white news places using our terms, like they bastardized woke, like they bastardized any other cultural thing that is a foundational Black American thing. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what that means. I mean, I know what they claim it means, but if you match that up to compensatory code, it means nothing. It means only trying to grasp for straws to understand racism and white supremacy.
Us having a lineage claim is a thing that needed to happen a long time ago, so we could stop, being violated on a regular basis. The lineage is just as strong. Everybody wants to put themselves. When you look at certain politicians, they always say, "I care about my people." Well, what people are they talking about? They're talking about their people. Some are Hispanic or whatever they say. They claim that they care about their people. But when Black people say they only care about Black people, it's always a problem. We're always the problem because we care about us first. And now that we're putting ourselves first, it's an issue. And now that we're not standing up in all these little protests, if you look online, you don't see hardly any Black people standing up. Why? Because we said we weren't going to. We said we weren't going to, and that means we're not writing for no immigrants. We're not writing for what they're doing at the White House or anything like that. Why? Because we already know none of this shit will benefit Black people, And so why continue?
So basically, what we're doing is codifying. We're codifying,
and we're showing them
based on what we're seeing, what we're observing.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
And if this isn't a sign of unification, Black family, then I suggest you really listen to what I'm saying. Look at all these protests. You don't see now one Black person there. Why? Because this is our unification. We don't have to be outside to show them. This is us unifying little by little. This is a win for what we're looking at. We say, you guys ain't even unified. You don't know that. Nobody knows what we're doing. We're just moving around doing what we're doing, which is minding our own Black business. You suggest you find yours like you should have been doing. We ain't going to take up no capes. We ain't going to put on no hats. We ain't going to go out there and ride next to you. We ain't going to do none of that because it's never been reciprocated. Everybody shit on Black people. They steal from Black people. They don't care where the histories come from. They insert themselves like they made it, knowing goddamn well everything was made by a fucking foundation Black American, meaning a Black American from the soil has created almost every fucking thing people use into this day. To this fucking stoplights, toilets, whatever you want to call it, you use it. A fucking Black American was behind it and created it, whether it got stolen and copyrighted by some motherfucking European. It was made and created by a motherfucking foundational Black American. And because they weren't talented enough to do it, they had to steal it and fucking rob us of it. And then they enslave us. And then they still fucking lease us out whenever they fucking need to for little of nothing. So it's ridiculous. And that shit's got to end. Free the land, free the land, free the land. There you go.
Yes, produce justice.
Yep.
You know, and I hear people on some of these platforms talking about what the Constitution states. I said that's a document to maintain the system of racism and white supremacy. That has nothing to do with those people that are classified as non-white. Because if it did, you would need all these amendments from the 13th Amendment, 4th Amendment, 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment to be ratified.
Brother
to get you right. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Those amendments are specifically for freedmen. They weren't for another group. They weren't for LGBTQ. They weren't for Mexicans, Hispanics. They were for
That's
free.
Right.
And look, Neely Fuller Jr. was in the military.
Yep.
So he saw
correct. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
About what was being held. He saw firsthand racism, white supremacy, and he was in the military. Can you imagine?
And I did too. I did 6 years in the military, and I saw it.
Imagine.
And up front and close. I saw it up front and close. They said we're all in one military, and our color is green, army green.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
My real father, rest in power, 44 years. My real father was in the military. He died at 22 years old. But I can imagine him having to say that he's some other race because at the time he's still fucking a shunned thing to be Black, to say you're Black. And when I think about a conversation I had with Brother Al-Yah, I was like, there's no race on my stuff.
He's a more truth.
But when you look at me, I know exactly what I might have looked like because I saw myself as a baby. And one time in a baby picture, I was like, damn, I'm so motherfucking pretty. I was like very fair and had pretty curly hair and whatnot. Well, one strip of a curl, but still, I still knew what I looked like. But they didn't even put a race on my shit versus everybody else had a race. And I was wondering why. And he gave me a thorough answer.
They've been doing that for hundreds of years. They've been doing that for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but some people did have races on theirs. Some people did. And I was like, even I've seen white people with their races white. So I just, it kind of baffled me. But I'm sure that as we dig further in our lineage and our histories, for people like me, there's got to be a reason why. And even if I have Black people in my family, which I showed Jesse, right?
Yeah.
When they had to come back into the United States, they had to check the white box. And then some of them were smart, checked the white box and described themselves as Black complected or dark complexion. You know what I mean? But they had to check that white box. They had to, or else they weren't going to be welcomed in. And I thought that was some bullshit. You dig? So I think that the more I dig around in my shit, because I'm an orphan technically, the more I dig around in my shit, the more I'm kind of curious to find out what else kind of censor thing that they really had to go through. Because when you look at these pictures, or look at certain pictures like the one I showed my brother, or showed Jesse, they look like Aboriginals, Black Aboriginals. You know what I mean? Like killers. They also look like killers. And I was like, that kind of feels like that energy feels right up here with me. But they look like they belong to somebody. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yes, because the racial, which I call the racial document, racial data document. Those are used to maintain representation as it relates to the major 9 areas. So there's a time they still use those documents today. Are you black now? Are you black, white, African American, Hispanic, non-white, white, non-Hispanic? Those are all documents that are fed into the databases and the algorithms to determine numbers as it relates to who could be classified as non-white and who is classified as non-white. See, because the thing is that they are preoccupied with numbers. Numbers give them certain output based on their representation as the dominant group in the known universe. So based on those numbers, they determine that how close are they to the apex of genetic annihilation. See, so they're totally preoccupied with it. Just as Neely Fuller says, they get up in the morning for no other reason than to practice the system, to practice the behavior of the system of racism and white supremacy on all people that are classified as non-white.
Correct.
Brother, one thing too that I noticed is that their numbers are always the same. They never raise up or raise down. We're always at the same percentage rate, which I find is pretty fucking stupid and redundant and a lie, obviously. And the thing is also too is that when they want to confuse when they want to confuse us as black folk, they know exactly how to target and how to do certain confusions in each of these areas, and including and not limited to, like Jesse said, health and wellness, or health and wellness area, the 10th or 11th or whatever, so to even in that realm, they find ways to confuse us, and then to find ways to find us to fight with each other, because they think people, when we fight with each other, we're like, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, the code is right, like honestly, the code is right. And the thing is that our belief system should not at this point, now that he is gone, should not be confused. We have a mission. We know what our mission is. Even if we are on separate things, we definitely should. This is always the first mission, as we continue to fight for reparations. The way we're fighting for reparations, as we continue to fight for our people that are fucking that are killed at the hands of fucking race soldiers. You know what I mean? And as we continue to get dominated in some of these fields, we have
our
to
uniform.
separate. Yeah, with this our uniform, we have to separate. And I'm good with it. This is a good thing, because not that he passed, but this is a good thing that what's happening around us as black people. You're not seeing us and everything. You're not seeing us. You're seeing what you're seeing is broken bed, rich mammies and coons giving their thoughts and opinions and their woe is me feelings about certain things that are happening in the world. And they're not, those again are, whether they're tethers or they're just acting in tetherishness behavior, they're not codified. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They don't show it, they don't act it, they don't breathe it, and you can't turn it off. You either are the way you are right now in life all day long, or you're pretending and you're an actor, and that's even worse. So, like this is an energy, like if you saw me in person, this is the energy you would see all day long. Probably worse because I cuss more. So, and definitely ready to throw the fucking heads because motherfuckers look at me like, shh, girl. Like, because I'm too light. But am I too light to do the work? Evidently, evidently they don't want to step in my place to do the work for the most vulnerable, the people that actually need justice, Black people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Black people are first. So they don't want to step into that place because they're too happy fucking making stupid ass comments and remarks. They're not happy to do the work. They don't want to do the work. They'd rather let, oh, no, no, yeah. No, you right. You show right. Go ahead and carry on. Blah, blah, make your little side jokes and whatnot. But you don't want to step into this place because this place fights racism and white supremacy. Whether you're fucking Black like midnight, whether you're white, whether you're a buffer race, anything that undermines fucking foundational Black Americans that live here on the soil, you're a problem, whether you see it or not. And they don't want to hear it, but they're gonna have to hear it. And if this little light face got to be the one to do it, well, I guess then I'm a motherfucking villain that has embraced villainy a long motherfucking time ago. You know what I mean? We don't follow leaders don't follow. We start out following something, and if it means something, might take it into our pedigree. But we're not a follow group. We lead. You know.
I think one of the most disheartening things of understanding codification is that when you hear or see victims of racism, white supremacy, aiding and abetting the system of racism, white supremacy that is diametrically opposed to their very existence, it's still disheartening to me. But
right, because you got to have accomplices to keep it moving. The only way that you can, the system, a gangster operation like this can continue to function is you have to have willing accomplices that look like the people that you're oppressing.
Yeah. And just like Neely Fuller said in the clip, that they will do certain things because the victims of racism don't even care, so the wholesale killing and murder of yourself, which is basically suicidal kamikaze type behavior. People have been reduced to that level because they don't understand racism, white supremacy.
So,
right. And then we shouldn't come together. We shouldn't come together unless we're going to produce a constructive result. We're not just coming together just to come together. We're together for a constructive result.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are doing that, like little by little, even though people don't think they're not thinking with their full spectrum of things. Like, you could be over here banging the drum for B1 FBA type situations. However, if you're not codified, then what does it really matter? You could easily be wooed. The codified, to live and breathe by this, they can't be wooed to drink the other side of the Kool-Aid. They are on a fucking definitive
right.
So we can't be coerced.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't say the book was for everybody. He said for those that classify themselves as non-white, as those that believe that they are victims of racism and white supremacy, this book is for you. If you don't feel that, then this book is not for you.
And also he footnotes that you are an independent, just as if you were an independent contractor. You are an independent adherent to the code, meaning that he said it's your job to add and expand the code. Because they're going to continue to come out with ways to expand it, maintain it, retrofit it, shore it up, expand it. So we have, as codifiers and as adherents to the United Compensatory Code System, it is our job and our duty to decodify any of those new systems that are plugged into the major 9 area.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is the
so
ever, and
but
those people don't want to. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. Can't make everybody do the one thing that's absolutely necessary. But to be somebody that can honestly live and stand by it. Yeah, man, I've been wanting to add to it, but where do you then I thought about it. Fuck asking where, just do it. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to do, and that's what a lot of our thought leaders or our thought leaders or people that that we listen to avidly, that help direct us, keep us on the path.
You mentioned Mr. Bobby earlier, right? Mr. Bobby, he used to make it where Neely Fuller Jr. could talk to the people, to the masses of our people, especially our youth, on the Blog Talk radio show. And they would get up there and they would ask him questions, and he would have an answer for them. And he'd tell you exactly where in the code book to find that answer.
Mm-hmm. And what like again, Mr. Bobby did some great motherfucking words. So like when Twitter permanently shadow banned me, I was thinking to myself, damn, I can't even say shout out to Mr. Bobby, because Mr. Bobby did a lot of the work. Questions and answers, that's your RBG. Mr. Bobby was hell of intertwined with Mr. Fuller Jr. And like the sadness that must go with that to him is immense. Because
Carl Nelson used to have him on his show all the time as well.
Yeah, it's on front page. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, like, these are people that we should thank to help get him out, help get his message across, because
and
it's important.
And this Neely Fuller said he had to rethink that to put when he was making the statement that to put Bobby putting the code in cartoon form. It seems like people were, because a lot of people are visual learners. They make observations and critical thinking based on their visual optics. So he said he had to rethink that and think that, and he thought that, so that was a good a move in saying that because some people are visual learners, and a lot of us are visual learners. A lot of us, our critical thinking don't kick in until we can measure a thought in speech by something visualized.
Right. But we grew up in a time where you actually read books. Nowadays, everything's on a tablet, everything's on a computer.
Yeah.
And I was the type that, I'm poor. Like I'm just gonna say it. I just am, right? And I got all my stuff on PDF, like I found it in PDFs, right? And I got it all right there. And I'm reading things that I don't have the compensatory. Well, I don't have that on PDF, but I'm reading, right? And I'm so excited that we have all these things, because if they ever came and burned our shit down again and took our books and burned them in the street, well, you can't burn my brain. And if you could, so fucking what? I still had it. I remembered it, and I acted in it, and I lived it, read it. I had to understand to be the victim of racism and white supremacy, because I as somebody that grew up, I keep a lot of terms out of my lexicon. Biracial, multiracial, whatever, with a mother that never really gave a fuck or wanted me. European mother, white mother. That's still my mother, still my vessel, you know what I mean? And it's me. It's talk shit about her. I can't let nobody else do it, right? Just like you don't let nobody talk about your goddamn mama, And I think that even though that is what it is, I'm thankful that I'm glad that she didn't want me. I'm glad that she didn't like me. I'm glad that she left. I'm glad, because it let me leave. Let me get taken away, go up in an ugly ass situation, only to know where I'm supposed to be. I only know what I'm supposed to be doing. all these ugly things. These are like stripes that I have, that I've lived through. It was Neely Fuller Jr. that explained the victim of racism, white supremacy part to me. He says, well, who are you? Well, my name is Brandon Majors. I'm a victim of racism, white supremacy. That's the answer. You know what I mean? That's the answer, right?
It's almost like a 9-step program you have to go into. You have to detox.
Yeah.
You have to detox.
I had to re-educate myself, sir. Yeah. Because I was in a confused life. I was having confused conversations. Now we don't have those confused conversations anymore. It took deprogramming, because that programming shit was like, well, what are you? I'm having, biracial. I'm biracial, multiracial. No, man, I kick all that shit out. None of those people, none of those races. Okay, even we'll just say Black, Indian, French. Okay, so what, right? But you can't see it. You could see it on my features, right? So, but listen, Indian people don't fuck with me. Everybody thinks I'm Hispanic, but the Hispanic people don't fuck with me. Unless they're calling me a mayate. You know what I mean? White people don't.
They call you a what?
Acknowledge me.
A
mayate, yeah.
A mayate, a mulatto.
Yeah, like I'm black, like a.
Yeah, like that. You got some paint in you. You got some ink in you.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I'm half and half. Well, what do you have? Yeah, I'm half black. And I do speak Spanish. It's like my third language. Okay, but my mother is French and English, and she speaks English. All kinds of languages actually. And
sister, let me say this: the rest assure you, this has been going on way before you or I were born.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, dude, no way. I'm done living this crazy biracial shit, because it only confused me. When I finally sat down and read the compensatory guidebook, I was already confused because of the fucking pre-programmed nonsense that I had been going through, fighting with racial identity, fighting this colorism shit, because the colorism part is the worst, because you could still kind of hurt my feelings. I'm old enough now. My feelings can still get hurt, right? But then I kicked it out. I kicked it out my lexicon. I was like, no, but yeah, I'm biracial. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm mixed. Black empowerment, Black liberation, Black I'll kick your ass. Yeah, I'm fucking mixed. So what? You know what I mean? I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know, stand up. But I fight for us, Black people in America.
Because you got to see the thing about these people. I don't even have to say these people. The thing about this species, I should say, is that they project out 20 to 30 years from the time in which we're functioning and operating in the known universe. Oh, yeah. So the things that they have in that, and I'm not talking about prototypes. I'm talking about functional, operational tools to further advance the system of racism, white supremacy is already in operation. Yeah, and see, and when Neely Fuller says they're going to outer, when he made the analogy of outer space, their whole preoccupation with other planets and space exploration is to have full certainty that there are no peoples on any other planet or in any other universe that are classified as other than white. That's what their preoccupation is about. Well, if they were first here on this planet, we have to make sure that they did not have space exploration predating this planet, or at the time this planet was formed, to go to other planets. And they are preoccupied with that.
And it's funny that they're preoccupied with that, because they're not of this world. They're the only ones the sun burns. The sun gives life to every other being, every other creature on this planet but them. The sun kills them. Die from the sun.
Photosynthesis. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nourishment. It's nourishment to sentient beings.
Right.
See, they're not sentient. They're not sentient beings. This is the thing. This is when you get into the esoteric concepts of racism, white supremacy. But it's all there.
Yes.
It's all there. Whether you're looking at genetics, whether you're looking at anthropology, human anthropology, when you look at seafaring, when you look at who predates who, it's on this continent, on this landmass, it's all there.
Yeah.
The evidence, the empirical evidence, the peer review evidence is there.
Yeah. They just don't want to face it. But like you said, they map it out. They done mapped out when they're going to be at complete zero on this country. And they have said by 2055,
they will be what?
A minority in this country.
And it will be sooner than that if they cease the practice of racism, white supremacy as their religion. Their religion is racism, white supremacy. Their justice is racism, white supremacy. That's why you can't get justice. So if they cease practicing that system and see that system is futile, it will be sooner.
Yes, like 2032.
Why? Because what happened? Yeah. So what happened? When you have peace, justice, people tend to interact at a human level. When you operate at the human level, you operate at the cellular, at the microcellular level. And when that happens, humans tend to do what? Migrate and miscegenate. They begin to mix. And that's the threat under the system of racism, white supremacy. See, they never wanted peace and unity. Yes, they never wanted peace and unity, because unity is a weapon in the minds of a racist woman and a racist man.
Yeah.
So when we did the unity, So when they say unity and unity is like an atomic bomb to them. That's what the whole borders and drawing up borders and landmass and reclassifying landmass and commandeering by force and that's what that's all about.
And remember, Mr. Fuller was on that heavy about there's no America, there's no Africa, there's no Asia, there's no Europe, there's Australia, because they don't produce justice.
No. I remember Neely Fuller said in his talk, he says, don't say a building is racist. No, you say the people in that building practice racism, white supremacy. And I'm under the suspicion, or I'm inquiring and investigating to prove or disprove if racism, white supremacy is being conducted against the people in that building that are classified as non-white. So he said, never say a place is racist. You say the people in that place practices racism, white supremacy. That's the reason why I stray away from religion, because when you talk about religion in the context of compensatory code, people get into the philosophical concept and the dogma of the theology, and they construe that, or they try to infuse that with explaining away racism, white supremacy. But you can't. Because that's one of the areas. Yes. See, and that's the reason why I said what I said to the sister earlier. And no disrespect to her, but I noticed her temperament changed when I said that.
It did.
Yeah, did you notice that?
You're not alone.
I never came across this book, and if you're only consumed with what the Honorable Elijah taught you, then you haven't explored really any other great works like this, because the conjunction with that then makes it more powerful.
And what I tend to do is I just digress. Why? Because it's a waste of time and energy to go into that area to explain, or either to give
reading skills,
codification, to decodify how in religion it plays a part within the major 9 areas. So when I'm normally faced with that, I just digress and allow the person to express what they're expressing.
Yep, because that's all we can do. Yeah, and even
that's why
he addressed.
Go ahead, sir.
Dr. Fuller Jr. Fuller Jr. addressed.
Oh yes, he did. Oh, I know he addressed it. That's why I address it.
That's why I was like, I sat back. I digress.
Even Malcolm X addressed it.
Look, I came in after what she said.
When we get free.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're gonna put it in the back pocket, and we're gonna focus on getting free.
Yeah, Malcolm X said, I don't care who you are, what color you are, long as you're willing to eliminate or destroy this miserable system. Yeah. See, a lot of people think that when Malcolm X broke with the nation, because I was a young man at that time, but a lot of people talk about Malcolm. See, I was around at the time Malcolm was on the planet.
That's why we love talking to the elders. See, what we doing right here, Brother Ben, is we bridging the gap. They said this wasn't possible for this to even happen. For
yes,
older
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Fuller Jr. students, Lincoln Page, New School, Neely Fuller students, and that's bridging the gap between the generations. That's what me and Shabaka is 65. I'm sure you're within that range group.
Yeah, I'm a little older.
Like in
okay.
Either way, you remember y'all lived that. Y'all didn't read about it. Y'all lived it.
Yeah, I lived that. See, I lived it. I lived Fred Hampton, the Panthers, Huey Newton, H. Rap Brown, Bobby Hutton. You know, so I was around. You understand me?
My pops, his name is Chairman Sekou. He's one of the founders of the Denver chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sekou, brother Sekou. Yeah. Okay, that's your pop.
Yeah.
Okay. So no what? Okay, you were destined to you know you were already light speed being
a Panther.
You were already light speed super. Yeah, you was already light speed beaming to the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
heard the story.
And we put the code in motion.
Yeah, bro, because and normally I always preface with all these organizations I have belonged to over the years, and I even tried to escape it. I said, you know what, I'm gonna be a good American. Let me get it. My father, you know, he's still in the universe. He's not here functioning, but he's still in the universe. His energy is still here. Both my mother and my father. And when my father was in the military, and this man taught me, I would say, a person that I would put with him and my mother and my grandmother and grandfather next in the same vocabulary or in the same standing as Neely Fuller. Is that my father, when he was in the military, he fought in the Korean War.
Okay.
He fought in the Korean War. But when he was in the Korean War, when he was in the military, it was segregated. Now imagine, he's fighting for his country, defended from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
But he was segregated.
Yep.
He was handpicked by President Truman and the Joint Chiefs of the Staff when they integrated the military, or I should say the Army, one branch. And my father says, and he was a young man at this time, and he just thought at that time that's where it's supposed to be. He was given this special task, operation, and orders from the Department of Defense and from his chain of command. And he said that the duties and the tasks of black soldiers at that time were the same tasks that they had as sharecroppers had.
Yeah, that's
what a lot of people don't know this.
were sharecroppers.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that they were the ones that dug the trenches, the foxholes.
Yeah.
Handled the most dangerous munitions.
Mm-hmm. Like
Chicago. Like the port. Yeah, that type of stuff. Not until they actually got the executive order to integrate did he start to advance on some of his own under his own abilities and intelligence to demonstrate that he's the best soldier for this task. So he pretty much moved up the ranks pretty fast. So my people from Mobile, Alabama, and Mississippi.
Okay. Oh snap! So you and Shabaka might be related. Shabaka's people from Alabama too.
Yeah. Okay, so we just might be. And matter of fact, a lot of us walk around and don't know how close we related. You know why? Yeah. Because of documents, because of laws, because of the laws that were kept for the property that these people had on our people. Yeah. So to make a long story short, is that when my father retired, he retired as a command sergeant major.
Okay.
And he was very influential in me going into the military, because at that time I was still disillusioned at the fact of why are things the way they are. Say it again.
You said he was a major?
No, a sergeant major.
Oh, sergeant major. Okay.
Well, actually, at that time he was a command sergeant major. They don't have the command sergeant major's rank anymore in the Army.
No, they got rid of that.
But so command sergeant major in the Army at that time was like the top. He was like that's like the sergeant of sergeants.
Yep.
Okay.
That's like a top tier. I mean, the first sergeant, sergeant first class, all of them report to the command sergeant major. And so by the time I got out of high school, I was just a disillusion about what I can do. It wasn't hard to find a job. You can get fired from a job and walk down the street and find 2 or 5 jobs at that time.
Oh yeah.
So
back then,
yeah. So then what happened? I said, okay. I went to breakfast with my dad. He invited me to breakfast, which I should have knew was something up. We had breakfast at home, but to take me out to a restaurant for breakfast, and he drove me down to APES in Los Angeles at the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force Recruitment Center. And I'm looking up at the building. I said, Pop, where are we going? You got to. And I'm thinking he's going there to pick up something for him. He said, no, you're going into the Army. I said, whoa. I didn't say I want to go in the military. I said I was thinking about it.
He went to enlist you?
Went to enlist me, man.
That bandit.
That day, after that breakfast, that good old breakfast, that lunch and breakfast, when we drove back, I already was under contract with the Department of Defense.
Damn.
I had 3 months to get ready. And within 3 months of that September of 78, I was being shipped off to Columbia, South Carolina, to be transferred from there to Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I hated the South. I hated South Carolina. I despise Georgia. I despise anything. I didn't even like cows, pigs, ducks. I didn't like a damn thing to do with it. I didn't even like the trees. When I know trees are good for, cleaning the air. because I wasn't used to nobody my age or even my father's age calling me no boy. That don't work with me.
Right.
So I was always
I can dig it. The whole story.
No, that just don't work.
The first police force in the United States started in South Carolina.
South Carolina, that's right.
Yeah, that's original. I like Texas. I had a stint as a military wife once, and obviously with the fucking demon, with the devil, and motherfuckers looking at me like I didn't belong over there. But man, I was in Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, so I can understand.
Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas. I hate Killeen, Texas, and Fort Hood.
I hate Fort Hood. I definitely hate Fort Hood. And being for Killeen, you had to know where. I would say I was like right outside the base, and I had a little apartment, and it was our people that were, and it's a very small group of our people that when everything failed, like they took me in, they fed me, they sheltered me when I lost my shit because some motherfucking devil wants to play a game, but no one wants to admit that it's army first, not family first, like they say on the commercials. It's army soldier first. And when gratuitous activities happen or felonious activities happen, you gotta raise awareness to it and ride the chain of command all the way up to the top. And that's what I was doing. I tried to kill him. I tried to blow his brains out because he did something really fucked up. And so they took me into the onto the base to the military psych hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like kept it off the books. A civilian, keep in mind, I'm just a wife. A civilian has to go there. Then I felt kind of privileged in one sense and like in another. And in that time I was in there just doing what I do best, telling the truth. To motherfuckers that were like, oh no, a private did this to a woman that should by all means be married to an E5 or higher. You know what I mean? That it should never have they tried to save the devil. Should have left the devil alone and just continued on her grind and been married to a brother or something like that. And instead, here I am trying to murder the devil in his own house for doing something terrible in my house. You know what I mean? So it's like I felt like when I was in there for 2 weeks, it was like vacation time. I was in there learning about anger and whatnot and getting help because getting help. I guess I got to allegedly get help. It was so severe that the first 3 nights they tranked me so I could calm down because I was so angry because I am what I am, and regardless, I recognize that you cannot save them, and they'll do whatever and then get away with whatever. And as long as there's another white face behind them, they can go ahead and continuously lie on us and get away with whatever, lock us up, lock us in, lock us down. And that was wrong. And so I had every fucking brother that I came into contact with that was in there and out there just running havoc on them when they got out. Because you're just a private, but you can't say no to it. E3 and E4, when they tell you to drop, you got to do what you got to do. You know, it doesn't matter where they're at or what troop they're in. You fucked up. You know? And I was highly amused everywhere I went. I was super amused every time I heard something, because it needed to happen. If I couldn't get justice one way, I was going to get justice somehow. And I was going to get it because you don't call me the N-word to my fucking face in my house, in front of my child. You don't call me the N-word while you're trying to get me put in jail or locked up. And you don't call me the N-word when I gave you a pass and I didn't, decorate my walls with you. You know what I mean? Twice. So you don't do that, and you continues to embarrass a motherfucker that, for no goddamn reason. And if it wasn't for me, you would have never went into the my bad. I've hit my own mute. So I'm just saying that the army, with the army's whatever. My real dad was in the army too. And when he got out, he was just a young man. He died. He was like 22 years old. And I could just imagine at that time, I was born in 1980, what kind of good shit was being provided or not provided. But he didn't want to sign up for any more time in the Army after he got out. He did his little, whatever time his contract was. And I believe it was under duress. I believe he had to go do it because he got in trouble. Him and my brother's father or something like that. He got in trouble and had to go into the military. You know what I mean? It's like part of conditions, or else you go to prison. You know, it's California. So I believe that he did his little time and he got out. I don't think he wanted to go in, because if he did, he would have went back in. Maybe he'd still be alive to this day. We never know, right? I just know that the military is not what it used to be. And it's not going to be the same after this, during this administration either. They're gonna, you think about it. Racism, white supremacy will, even if it hasn't already, it always has hit the military. Nobody wants to believe it, but it's a true statement. You know what I mean? Look how they treated Black soldiers all the way through time. You know what I mean? So that's how I just had to say. I was like, the military was supposed to be, supposed to be something we look up to, and we can, to a certain extent, to the people that served for this country. But under what conditions did they have to serve? It's a question that we'll never know the answers to. You know what I mean?
The worst conditions imaginable, and then had come back and got burnt alive in their uniforms. But that was
no respect, no legacy, no nothing. And the ones that went all the way up to the top, that could be at the president's thing, even then, they are not respected. You know,
no, like
the race and white supremacy.
Colin Powell, for instance.
Nope. And yeah, here we go. We're just going to talk about them. We can't talk about them if they can't be respected in their own field. You know what I mean?
Micah Johnson.
Lead by fear.
Micah Johnson, Christopher Donner.
Mm-hmm.
But my peoples were as well. My grandfather, who just passed 2 years ago now, it will be in a couple days.
Yep.
He was in the Navy. His daddy was in the Navy. I believe his daddy as well. So I'm like 3 generations Navy. I was the only one that didn't join the military. I joined the all Black People's Army.
I wanted to be in the military when I was a little girl, and I had a talk with my brother's father. Raised me, my dad. I call my dad, right? And I was like, "Hey, Daddy, you think I go in the military?" And I tried to do it, but the MEPS, man. The one thing my father said is that you can go and try to embarrass yourself if you want to, but your eyes ain't gonna let you in, because I had out of stigmatism. He said that, and that I couldn't control my weight. I was a girl, and I couldn't control my weight at all. Right? Well, I've stood steady until my 3rd kid, and then after that, the thyroid gland went out, but I couldn't control it between fucking 5 and 10 pounds, and no matter what I did or work out, I was still gonna be a soft woman, right? Now, my father said, but you could do, you would make a excellent mercenary. And I was like, shit, well, that's the goal. But, you know what I mean? Larry, if I couldn't be in the military, well, I guess I would be a mercenary. You know what I mean? And even then, I had a little brief stint with doing some serious practical shit. Just because I felt like it, because everyone said I couldn't do it. Just because they wouldn't let me in didn't mean I couldn't do it.
Right.
You know? And that's a thing where, racism, white supremacy has been in your life, in your face, no matter what complexion I have, has been saying, no, you a difference.
Yeah.
You can't come in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I'm playing.
I started to go damn able. I wrote it.
Oh, you did. Trying to break.
You said no. You. I said that. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Something happened. I don't know. It might be on my end. You hear me okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, what I was saying, after my 4th year, I started to go AWOL that month. Told my father, I wrote a letter. No, I was supposed to be going on leave. Well, I remember this was 78, and wrote a letter, told my family that I'm not going to be able to be on take leave. I'm not going to have leave for that Thanksgiving. I said, but I told my pops, I said, I'll give you a call later. I called him from bowling alley that was on base. I told him that I'm getting out of here. He said, oh, you got orders? Are you getting discharged? I said, no, I'm going AWOL. He said, no, whoa, don't do that. Don't go AWOL because you're going to mess up your benefit. I said, I can't do this. I said, Pops, I'm going to have to tell you. I said, I don't know how you did this. Mm-hmm. I do not know how you did this.
Yep.
He said, finish your enlistment and we'll talk about it. And my father, this is when I was discharged. This is when I was actually not in active duty. I still had my reserve obligation to do. And my father told me the things that he went through. And it almost brought tears to my eyes because as a black man with 7 kids, he had to endure some of the things that were unimaginable for a man. You know, here you are.
Right.
You're a man. You're already a E7 at that. He was the E7 at I think E8 at the time.
Yep.
But I know why he did it. He did it because he loved my mother and he loved his kids.
Yep.
You see, and that time and period in that time, he could have either derailed his career. But my father was a soldier. He was a soldier. And I would just go on record and say he loves the military. And I relate that to the time and the environment which he was brought up in, you know, because I'm like I'm down to 5th generation of military. You know, I have great relatives that fought in the Civil War, and this is documented.
Yep.
This is documented.
Yeah, that means you're FBA. That means you're a descendant of freemen. That means that the reparations claim to that as well.
Correct.
And being black and have generational ties to this ugly ass military.
We fought every country has ever had from the revolutionary.
To know that when you get in there, they calling you out your race, they calling you a boy, they treating you like less than, and to go endure that in every generation, it's just fucking, it just baffles me. And you know, knowing that this is one of the things that you grow up in the United States, you should be proud to serve your country. Well, what country is it that we should be serving? Because the same country has shot in the face of us since they came in and colonized. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you know, we have a misconstrued understanding of what we should be paying, what we should subscribe to as our allegiance. What should we be? What should we place our allegiance? Is it to the Constitution? Is it to the 3 branches of government? Is it to the socioeconomic system? Is it to race? I would say now, after all those experiences, race.
I would say race, but not everybody identifies with the same race.
No, they don't. They don't.
And it's on the backs of slavery, my brother. It's built on the backs of slavery and who the fuck they could enslave when they got here, whether they were here or not, and mixing, enslaving. And all these things were built on the backs of slaves. The all these systems, the judiciary, The money, all that is built off of the backs of fucking slaves. The dollar, backs of slaves. You know what I mean?
We were the
3/5 of what? Backs of slaves. You know what I mean?
We're Wall Street.
Backs of slaves. I would say blacks on the backs of blacks. You know what I mean? So exactly. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that we can make our petition just based on compensatory code.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our petition for reparations can be the whole push against reparations can be dismantled through compensatory code.
Exactly.
That's the conclusion. That's a conclusion that I've arrived at, and I've been on that now. I would say about 20 years.
Okay.
So the justification based on what is due us, based on the system of racism and white supremacy, and the restoration based on compensatory damage and interest could be demonstrated through a discussion or a debate as to does racism, white supremacy exist, and does it not exist? And if it does exist, who is its main victim?
Right.
That's the position I hold.
In our position, and the position that we hold is that we are owed at minimum $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities that have been brought against our people, who have been brought against our people since 1526 in this country, because we are the foundation of this country. There would be no United States of anything if it wasn't for our ancestors. So we can never lose sight of that, and we are owed for the creation and building this nation.
Yes, the erecting of what they call the New World was done with the labor, ingenuity, and on the backs of African descendants.
Yep. Period. Point blank. Period.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't need to add anything. No commas. No exclamation points. Period.
Feels right. Sounds right. Sounds like
and we have to have and see, and if this ever, if the legislation or any petition comes up, I believe that this is what I believe is that on to argue our grievance, and petition this country for the trillions of dollars to make restitution and or make us as whole as the debt that they owe can make and render. See, because they can't tell us that reparations do not make people who have been wronged both physically, by nation, and by race and creed. It does not give them some wholeness. Because the argument now is that, okay, if they give you the money, what are you gonna, you're gonna, okay, fine and dandy.
That's
right. But let me make that decision.
Yep.
Let me make that damn decision after you pay the penalty.
Right.
After you pay the damages, let me make that decision.
Right. Get out of my pocket. Yep.
Right. I might want to get the hell out of the continental U.S. America. That's my decision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I had no decision, and you bring in over 100 million slaves from 1552 all the way up to the late 1800s to the Americas by force.
Yep.
So that wasn't my choice. What I do with the damages that are rendered and that you have to pay, I make the damn decision on what I do with it.
Right, just like you do the Native Americans, the so-called Indians. Just like that. We want the same treatment. Shout out to Tariq. a lot of work to get Neely Fuller work out there.
They know what it's like. You know, they know what it's like to pay reparations.
Yeah.
If they didn't know, what the hell did you construct a League of Nations, now United Nations, and the U.S. Security Council in The Hague for?
Yeah.
What are all those international bodies in existence for? They're in existence to make restitution to countries and statehood and states for damages from other empires or other tyrannical governments against those sovereign people.
Yeah, but we're the only ones.
Everybody else,
yeah, but that's the thing. We're the only ones that are not in a protected class. Everybody.
Yeah, and you know why I think that is? You know why I think that is? Because we need to come up with a mandate that could be brought forth to all these bodies, not only the United States of America, but all those parties that were involved, and have teams, and everybody stand on compensatory code. And anytime a question is asked or a question is asked to be elaborated on, we're going to dismount it through compensatory code, and by the examples that they've demonstrated where they have paid reparations.
Yeah, well, remember they made Haiti pay back reparations to France after they whooped their ass and the British ass and the U.S. ass.
And they're still paying it. They're still paying reparations to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank.
And they overpaid. They should never had to come to that. They should never had to come to that. But goddamn colonizers, you know what I mean? And now you see all these black countries kicking them motherfuckers out. And just like they're kicking them out, and we're kicking out immigrants, sooner or later it's going to be us and them. And us and them are going to have to come to a serious fucking understanding, because they don't want us black people to get in our bag and get real emotional like we do when we start really protesting shit, you know, because we do get active. And not only do we get active, there's some of us that got that certain kind of something in them that doesn't know how to stop.
We are the only moral compass of this country. Without us, there is no moral compass. We are the most.
Are you watching your comments, brother?
Uh-huh.
Are you watching your comments stream?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I dropped a link if anybody wanted to hop up. I've been trying to end the show though, but if anybody wants to hop up and add to the discussion, you can. But we have passed the 3-hour mark, and I know Lady.
Okay. On over to good old Brandy's page. I'm about to go live here shortly.
I have the links in the chat. There's the links.
Yeah, I already got it set up. I just gotta mosey on over there. So right after this will come the RVA episode 3. And you more than welcome, brother Ben, to go ahead and pop on over there. I'll throw up a panel, and you can have.
Okay, then I'm gonna make me another strong black cup of coffee, and then I'll hop on over there.
I'm drinking whiskey. That's as strong as I can get today.
Well, thank you. It's been a brother. We appreciate you.
Likewise,
like please, brother, pop up again. We really enjoyed your company, and we
likewise.
Likewise.
Hey, Zag Tabius Prime. We about to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tabius Prime. Go ahead and pop your ass over there to the RBA too. Since you came in late.
Yeah, they listen to the playback, but yeah, RIP to our master teacher, Neely Fuller Jr. Gone but not forgotten. He just transitioned this past Tuesday, as a matter of fact. He was 95. He would have been 96 in October of this year, and his memory lives on. His work lives on, and it's up to us to build on his work. Those of us that are codified on code with the compensatory code concept for victims of racism and white supremacy, textbook and workbook. So if you ain't on that and you talking code, you don't know what the hell you talking about. I got the code right there on as my profile picture. So Appreciate everybody that tapped in with us. Head on over to the RBA. When are you going to drop that, Lady Tay?
Right now. In about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Okay, bet. All right, so this is going to conclude Season 10, Episode 2 of Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced in conjunction with the Frontline Black News. Join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Frontline Black News, Season 4, Episode, where are we in now? 46, Part 1. In the meantime, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka'S Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter. We appreciate everybody that tapped in with us tonight, this morning, Grand Risings. This morning it's heading into noon now, just past noon now. But Grand Risings with Shabaka and the Change. We appreciate Sister Hesepshu for joining us. We also appreciate Brother Ben, who was a student of Neely Fuller Jr. for the past 40 years. So shout out to him. Appreciate him tapping in. We're going to see him on the RBA. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. Shane Krummer, Jesse Paris signing off from the Mile High Income, and happening right now, Master Ported City. And Lady Che is in the sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado. Peace and Black love. R.I.P. to the Master